Joe, if you're listening, you stupid fuck. He looks like one of those guys from Long Island that wants to be a white rapper, but he's 30-something years old, lives in his parents' basement with the droopy cap and the whatever, but he thinks he's Howard Stern, and he's got a cool way of talking in the microphone, and he's a shock jock or whatever, and somehow or another he accumulates followers on Twitter. It's fucking pathetic. So please, nobody listen to anything involving a guy named Joe Cronin, because it's just so fucking sad.
But yet here you are! Yet here they are, Jimmy! Here they are, Jimmy! You say don't listen, but here they are, Jimmy! Oh, Jimmy, 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 Jimmy! Here they are, Jimmy! Oh, Monday Night Raw! June 17th, 2019, and I'm not asleep! And you're not asleep. Tonight on WWE Raw, the WWE Bray Wyatt skit featured the stock footage video that we use for Monetize This is opening. Monetize This was on Raw as far as I'm concerned. I don't care what anybody says. Stock footage or not, that was hilarious. That might have been the funniest fucking thing I've seen on Raw all year, was EC3's limp, lifeless body. That was fucking hilarious. I don't care if you hated this show. I don't care if you're the most jaded motherfucker out there. Many people think I'm the most jaded motherfucker out there. But if you didn't think this was funny, you're on drugs. Like, I fucking was losing my mind. That was fucking hilarious. This was clearly the best show of 2019. This was the best Raw of 2019, without a doubt. Now, it took fucking abysmal ticket sales. So now you know the pressure point. You know, if the ratings drop to the lowest they've ever been, you'll get the McMahons. Ratings drop to the lowest they've ever been, you'll get the McMahons coming up promising you all kinds of bullshit that isn't going to happen. And if the ticket sales, however, fail, you will get an immediate response of something. Now, many morons out there are going to say, "Oh my god, you're saying this is the best Raw of the year? What are you, stupid and crazy?" What do you mean, what am I, stupid and crazy? Is there a better episode of Raw all year? Raw sucked all year. This wasn't that great. But everything sucked so much dick. I believe that in 2019, I haven't given Raw a good rating.
Raw was meh, not good, not bad, just so-so.
Oh man, I don't know. Maybe I highly disagree. Corwin Eberly, thank you for the $2, Corwin. This was a clear, concerted effort to attempt to do something different tonight a little bit, to have more of a continuity and an interest. There was no doubt in my mind, there was 100% different shit that went on tonight compared to normal. Compared to the normal Raw that gets a 1 out of 10, a 2 out of 10, a 3 out of 10, and a 4 out of 10. I have not given a Raw above a 4.5 all year. In 2019, I don't think I've given a Raw review past a 4.5 out of 10. So to say tonight's the best Raw isn't that big a deal. I believe tonight was like around a 5 out of 10. Maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit. I wouldn't go any lower though, because it was better than most nights usually. The show has sucked so much ass recently that this was a clear difference. A clear panic mode set in for WWE at some point. It was very evident, I believe, tonight. And I'm going to try to get Jake DeMarco on the screen. There's so much that... Here's the one thing that I can take away from tonight. Because clearly WWE was trying to do something tonight and changed up their... Felt like what they would normally do. Their complacency a little bit. There's a lot to talk about tonight. Differently than normal nights. That's how I know tonight was different. Other nights, we come out here and you say... and this happened, that I guess, I don't know. Anyway, let's talk about something else besides wrestling. Tonight, I'm ready to go fucking almost minute by minute about what happened tonight because it was very interesting. And if you were blind, maybe you missed it, but there was a lot of very interesting things that WWE did tonight. From the beginning to the end, the little nuances that we might have missed. In fact, I wish I kept my YouTube TV open now because I was going to actually use the video to go through the segments because it's so important. There's little things that they did here or there, all the way down to just a little moment where Drew McIntyre in the back, Heath Slater, comes in asking for a raise to Shane McMahon, which I loved. He comes in the back, hey, Shane, listen, blah, blah, blah. He needs a raise. Then Drew McIntyre follows him out afterwards, and you knew what was going to happen. I mean, it was very predictable, whatever. It wasn't the most creative thing ever in the world at all. But, hey, at least they're in the back, and they're doing something in a segment. And not only are they doing that, but for him to, be like, you know what, let me give you some money. And he fucking, I don't really, And with all the superstars being like, I don't have enough money for my kids, there was a double play on fucking Leo Rush. They were making fun of fucking Leo Rush. I don't have enough money. I don't make enough money for my kids and all these other things. Like, hey, can you give me some money? Dude, that was fucking hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. And fucking... He pulls out money, then drops it. He's like, oh, well, hold on. And he's like, I'll get that for you. Okay, yeah, you get bam, punches him in the fucking face. Dude, that was some, the only problem with tonight was a lot of the heels, they all have the same mentality. They're all like 80s bullies. Like, that was the one thing, so if you want to get into how deep the characters were and how great the writing was, it's not that good. The thing is, though, normally they do shit. So at least the fact that they did something, that one little thing, among other things, was interesting. It was funny to see Heath Slater get this shit kicked out of him, to me. I don't know, that was funny. There's so much more to talk about. I'm going to start at the beginning. The way Raw started tonight. They didn't have 20 minutes of, I'm going to burn it down, I'm going to do this, and Fucking Seth Rollins sounds like a fucking lesbian witch who's fucking just stuck a pole up her ass. But no, Elias starts it off. Blah, LA, you're trash, same old bullshit. Oh my God, hit from behind with a chair. Stuff that I would say was a 6 out of 10 at best. But, boom, right to the point. Seth Rollins got a chair. Here's what I'm doing tonight. Anybody that fucking could be a referee is getting the shit beat out of him. I got a chair. And then that story arc would continue throughout the night. Oh my God! A fucking theme that continued throughout the night that wasn't complete dog shit. It was mediocre, but it was still something. And then they all beat the shit out of Elias, which was kind of funny, I guess. It was okay, whatever. And then they had a good Fatal 4-Way match, a decent one. It was kind of fun. It was all right. And so, right at this point, I'm like, okay, there's the vibe. They're clearly feeling the heat from these ticket sales. Tickets are horrible. This is a 20,000-seat arena. A 20,000-seat arena. They made 10,000 seats available. However, only 7,000 seats are available right now. And I don't know if those are sold out yet, and I don't think so. So this was desperation. Anyway, that's my intro, whatever you want to call it, my intro to my Raw review. And then we're going to go and break it down from the beginning to the end. All the donation alerts are on. If you guys want to donate tonight, you can use the super chat on the bottom right. Or if you want to use Streamlabs, and I'll make more money if you do that. Streamlabs is on the left. The link is there. Streamlabs Twitch alerts. The link is there for that. Take you to the PayPal screen. And all the donation amounts are listed way at the bottom. So if you have your description box, you just have to open it all the way up to go all the way down the bottom. You can see the 40 or so different alerts if you want to support the show tonight. Ads do not support us really at all. YouTube censors almost everything I do. The only way that we get paid or that I get paid anything, that my channel does anything, is because of your live donations. So if you want to try it out, check it out down below. Feel free to chime in. We'll play all those in a minute. And throughout the night, and we will take phone calls at some point, too. I have a lot to say. This is going to be one of the most divisive Raws of the year so far because they actually seemingly tried to do something different. I honestly believe if you thought this was as bad as every other Raw this year, that you didn't watch the show or you went in completely fucking hateful. Because whether tonight was a... If you normally give Raw a 2 out of 10, you would give tonight a 3 or 4. If you normally give Raw a 1, you give tonight a 2 or 3. If you normally give Raw a 4 out of 10, you'd give tonight a 5. I can't imagine that this Raw was worse than the other Raws of the year because they have been so goddamn piss poor shit. That tonight's Raw was their best effort of the year. And it still, to me, was only about a 5 out of 10. But maybe higher a little bit. But I just give them... It's like they're so bad that I'm giving them credit for this because at least it told some kind of story and tried to sell the goddamn fucking pay-per-view. Imagine that when you don't sell the fucking show, the tickets don't sell. Anyway, Jake DeMarco, what up, buddy?
What's going on? Yeah, I mean, the one thing that they really showed us tonight is that they were paying attention and trying to build character for many of the superstars. The thing that I noticed the most, my main critique, because I enjoyed tonight, depressed as I am, I enjoyed tonight. My issue was that they don't know how to book the faces if they don't have a strong heel to go up against. Seth Rollins looks piss poor in comparison. Roman looked really good tonight. He did. Drew McIntyre's speech that he gave to Roman when Roman finally lost it and went to go find them in the back, that was well done. I tweeted out my favorite moment of the night was the interaction between, Drew and Heath. They yes, wrestling fans knew it was going to happen. I mean, you pretty much could pick up on it, but it was supposed to be unexpected and really vicious. And I mean, what about, their history and 3MB and all this stuff? Oh, he's going to offer him money. He's being compassionate after Shane so, harshly and coldly tells him, you came in like a man, you can walk out like a man. Basically, I'll let you live, that kind of attitude. That was a great segment. That was perfect. You have McIntyre shows a little compassion. Let me help you out. Heath's on the phone with his wife, and he tells her, hold on a second. And his wife hears him getting beat down. That's great.
That was fucking awesome. And, dude, I even said out loud, oh, my God, I hope we hear her on the other side of the phone. Like, I knew, because normally it's just like, hello, nobody's there, and, like, it's just like he's talking. Dude, the fucking woman was on the phone. That little, I'm swear to God to you, I don't care what anybody in the chat thinks. And the fucking woman was on the phone. He's like, hey, honey, yeah, it didn't work out. And she's like, hey, oh, hang on a minute. And, dude, she was on the phone. I'm sorry. I know that's fucking retarded. That meant a lot to me. I was like, oh, that's fucking awesome. She's on the phone.
Attentions to detail moments are what we need. They had some continuity just by, showing, a relationship that happened more than a year ago. A little bit of booking from ages back. It's good when they bring up things that happened, way back because it's easier to expand upon and build up emotion for. I really enjoyed that entire segment from start to finish. Everything they did, the way the money he dropped it looked accidental, but oh my God, that was intentional to get Heath to lean down, and you played upon his necessity and his compassion, and the fact that we know it was kind of a troll segment as well, making fun of not just Leo Rush, but other stars, kind of bitching and complaining. So, I mean, that was just top-notch perfect. Just based on the wrestling alone tonight, which we got in spades, comparatively speaking, when you base it upon, tonight's Raw was a 10 in the realm of compared to other Raws we've gotten this year. Now, no, it's not a 10 out of 10 show, but you figure for the last 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row, us giving it a 1 or a 2 tops, tonight, comparatively speaking, like I said, is just way up there. It was entertaining. It wasn't boring. They tried different things. They didn't have the same opening, like you said, 20 minutes, talking segment. A few things that I would have gotten rid of. I wouldn't have had Paul Heyman come out and ramble on like he did. I would have gotten rid of that.
That was that and Alexa Bliss in the back was the worst thing of the show.
I didn't mind Alexa Bliss in the back, honestly. That I didn't have a huge problem with. I understand what they're going for, but that didn't trouble me as much as other things. Even the way they handled Braun, he looked like a little bit less of a dumbass. It took multiple people to pin him. So again, they're trying to make him still look like a monster. That's the kind of things we need, rather than him walking off and giving up a shot at the belt. He instead of him taking off and into the back to beat somebody up and giving up his spot. I'm happy that they gave Ricochet the chance to go up against Samoa Joe. I like the beatdown after the match. I mean, like you said, we'll go from top to the bottom.
Dude, everything was like, wow. I mean, everyone was getting their ass kicked tonight, dude. Like everything was like. I mean, that's the only one thing is like everything was. But that's what this is. This is wrestling. It's for the belts. I mean, the only thing was there could be other little things that they do fine. And one thing too, do we see the 24-hour title tonight?
Yes, very, very briefly. They were wearing Carmella and R-Truth are wearing disguises.
But that was it.
Row,
that was it, right?
I think that was during the Viking Raiders.
Yeah, right after it.
I think. It was during because it was a really, really quick showing from the Viking Raiders.
It was as soon as something ended. I know that. It was,
and they were supposed to look like kind of like a Charlie Chaplin look to Carmella, and R-Truth was wearing like a red coat, almost like a British style, outfit. And but that was funny. He goes under the ring. They pull out, Titus O'Neil out the other side. They can't figure out how to get under the ring because the Trons, are on the other side for the screens, and they go and they run through the back. I would have liked to have seen more, but I'm not worried too much with that. So if they keep focusing on YouTube with that segment, if that becomes more of the social media thing, then I'm not upset that it's not better used on the show.
You're right, because it was one of the better things. Like seriously, like let me just say this: like Raw for the last like 3 weeks to 4 weeks, the best thing on the show has been the 24-hour belt.
Yeah,
and everything else
and Bray Wyatt consistently have been the two things that are shining. And
everything else was fucking horrible. Tonight, the 24-hour belt didn't really matter that much, but it did. But that's what it's supposed to be. That's where it's supposed to be.
A quick segment, and then it's supposed to be more of an afterthought and be utilized online, social media. And then I appreciate what they did for certain things, though. They even got me at one point. I will admit that. I'll get into that in a second. But I liked how they addressed and utilized some of the people that you don't normally see. We have a very, very, very big match coming up where the club is, bringing on Triple H, and they're reuniting with AJ Styles because they're going to Japan. That's huge. That's monumental. And Triple H is going to be an honorary member. But we haven't seen anything from the club in ages. And they said that tonight. AJ Styles said that. You guys have been, falling off to the wayside. So we wonder, are they going to get the Dean Ambrose, John Moxley treatment if they're on their way out? What's their status? What's going on?
The funny thing is that he's like, well, you guys are all like, I've got money now, and you're buying all this shit. You've lost focus of what you're really doing. I love that explanation. That was great. The reality is, though, that it's kind of insulting. The reality is Vince books them like shit and he's an idiot.
Exactly, but at least they did it in the storylines. I tried to ignore the real life parameters of things and just focused on the kayfabe. Yeah. So they went ahead and they said, hey, you guys have basically gotten lazy and complacent. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Let's see you. And they still didn't win. So it gives them a bit of, you didn't. Typically they'd go out there and look, instant redemption. It's done and over with. They beat the Usos. And now they go and they have their one-time match and they disappear. No, they're gonna continue to tell this story to build up to the Japanese, the overseas tour. But I guess there's also a little bit more in the works. So I'm curious to see where that goes. There's a lot of things. As I mentioned before, they did get me with the EC3 part. I was like, wow, they're gonna use EC3 as a special guest referee because he can count to 3. It's in his namesake. But at least they're going to utilize him. No, he's been hit with a chair. I didn't see that coming at that point. I figured they would wait till he was in the ring or, give him a chance to talk. No, they brutalized him. I'm like, poor EC3. But I laughed. I did laugh. It was stupid. But the New Day using him as like a, Weekend at Bernie's type thing. And you can't have the match wobbling him like a puppet. That made me chuckle.
Fucking was roaring out loud. I'm sorry, man.
Funny.
Like, I think the New Day's retarded now, but like that was fucking hilarious. This is the stuff that EC3 can do, man. That skit with the Hardys and the deletion stuff in TNA, whole skit he did was amazing. This guy can be
when he mocked the entire thing.
Dude, him fucking passed out, the way he looked, I'm telling you.
He sold that perfectly.
I gotta believe that. I gotta believe that he is gonna get better stuff to do now because I'm just imagining, like Vince backstage. Vince must have fucking loved that.
Oh, he must have been roaring laughing.
Like that's something that I'm laughing my balls off at. But that's also something that I know Vince is laughing at when him bobbing his head and then being like, "I'll be the referee." Like Vince in the back,
high-pitched voice.
When he looks like an idiot, like that type
of thing. Just the way he bobbed his head when they were having him say yes, he actually looked unconscious because he was so like loose and And I could still be hypercritical and be like, where the fuck is the brand split? You know, but they addressed
we'll get into that.
They said it outright. They said, you're not on the wild card and you're not.
They said what I said. I told you.
So they actually brought attention to it, and that's all you have to do.
No, but dude,
at least address it.
But this is why it's stupid, though. Here's why it's dumb. Like 8 weeks ago or whatever on the show, if the video's even still up right now, I don't know if you can look it up. But I said, dude, get ready for it. There's going to be like the max 4 people are going to show up, and then other people are just going to show up, and then they're going to be like, what do? You can't be here. And they're going to be like, I do what I want to do. Like that. Like oh my God, we said that was going to happen. And here we are. Oh, I do what I want to do. I'm like, there it is. Doesn't fucking matter.
But we said the only person that should work for is the WWE champion or the Universal champion. But and they said that. I mean,
anyone
the rest
will
of the
do
New
it,
Day
though.
shouldn't come with him. But, I mean, we figured they're just going to keep piling people on. You called it hook, line, and sinker. It happened. So
I laughed my ass off when he said, I do whatever I want to do, and I bring the New Day with me. And it was just like, oh, man, like, it's so fucking retarded. It is so dumb. The wild card. However, tonight showed you, the other nights they've been doing the wild card, it has been so generic. It's like, I use the wild card rule. Here I am, like, blah, blah, blah. And it's like fucking stupid. Tonight, though, showed you how the wild card can work because, all right, the New Day shows up. They do that segment, so I don't even care. Like, I'm like, that was fucking hilarious. Then, you know, Bryan being able to wrestle Seth Rollins in the main event tonight, that was awesome because it was different.
That was a fantastic match.
It's like
that was something we don't usually see. That's how the wild card should be used, and that also showed some of the problems with Seth Rollins. But really quick before I forget, we were talking about comedy with EC3 and laughing. The end of the Heath segment, you know, when after he gets his ass kicked, the Revival come, they break it up. Save it for Sunday, and then one of the guys in the Revival takes the money and puts it in his freaking pocket. That was so good,
dude. That's so. I didn't.
That
oh my
God!
God!
I had to go back and watch that twice just because he goes down. It looks like he grabs a 20 off the ground. He just puts it in his pocket when he's picking up Drew, and I'm like, it's so subtle. It's so good,
dude. The other thing that got me was at the beginning of the segment before the New Day came out, and what the fuck? Oh yeah, they couldn't get Sammy and Kevin Owens show made yet.
Yeah,
and when Owens goes, I tried to get it made, you know, and I tried to, good job, Bobby. And he just yelled like to made up some name or whoever, like to the graphics guy. Like, I told the graphics guy and he couldn't get it done in time. I'm sorry.
Have it ready. Yeah,
good job, Bobby. And he just fucking yells up at the stage. Dude, I'm sorry. That fucking was funny too. So right there, like these stupid fucking things, like that's funny. Like the arc of Seth Rollins all night, I'm not even like the biggest fan of it, but the bottom line is they did something. That's kind of what I had.
The only thing I really truly had a problem with was the arc of Seth Rollins. Like I understand what they're going for, but it just shows that they don't know how to handle a face unless they have a really strong heel to go against the face. And Daniel Bryan is that strong heel. So when he was there, him and Seth, you know, the interactions between the two, that worked well. But Seth going around and just bashing everybody with a chair, I know that's his gimmick at this point in time, and you know, it makes sense with the chair. Yes,
tonight I liked it because I thought it made more sense tonight, where he was like, "I'm gonna get ahead of this."
Yeah, I don't want to be, but it's just a shitty way for a face to be at a certain point, like the way he handled Eric Young in the back. You know, I know he's supposed to be ruthless, and Seth's not going to take any chances, but you know, it just. I want to be careful the way I say this, but. They're not trying to book him like, you know, a tweener or that badass face. They're making him, he's supposed to be the penultimate good guy, but yet, you know, so often do they have their faces act like heels. So they have, as you said perfectly, they have their heels, you know, who are the 1980s up at the ski lodge villains, you know. That's what it reminds me of. Those old corny, you know, ski racing movies, and you have the rich kids. You know, that's your classic villain, and that's what we're getting for our heels. But the faces come off as bullies too. They're supposed to be the good guys. They're supposed to be the heroes, you know, the ones we look up to. But instead, they come across as assholes in their own right. They're bullying people. They're being jerks. They're selfish. You know, it's difficult.
Stone Cold Steve Austin was a piece of shit.
And but he was not really an outright face. He was never the ultimate good guy. You rooted for him, but he was never booked like the classic good guy. He was really, you know, that ultimate tweener. He towed the line between face and heel perfectly. People wanted
I think he was a straight up.
I
think Stone Cold was a straight up heel. No, he was a bad guy, but they liked him.
I mean, but even in his ultimate quote unquote face times, he was still more heelish than anything. Absolutely.
Yeah, but I mean, like Seth, Eric Young talking to the guy, and then he kind of said like, I wasn't going to do it. I just said that so he'd get away. And I think that in Seth's mind, I didn't have any. I don't know. I didn't have a problem with it. I thought about that though. I thought, wow, now he attacked Eric Young. Damn, that's kind of weird because Eric was like, I won't do it. We go back and everything, so that won't happen. So you figure that was it. And then when he hit him from behind, I was like, Jesus, he's going after him too. But that doesn't bother me.
Right,
that's burn it down. That's the burn it down that he's always talking about.
But he kind of looks like less courageous than anything. And that's kind of the problem that I have with it because they portray him as this, perfect entity. But really, as we were saying, people in the chat made a great point. Austin's the anti-hero.
Yes.
And he fits that so well. The Punisher of sorts.
Right.
He's doing what's right, but
it doesn't
only if
fit
it suits
Seth.
him in the moment.
Seth is out of character by doing it, maybe.
Seth is he doesn't show courage. He's not showing, him being strong in the face of adversity. He's just, it's kind of survival of the fittest of a sorts, but it's not what they should be having with him, because there's such a lack of character with him, and so we see these little moments, and it's not enough.
But this,
to help
honestly,
define
dude,
who he
tonight
is.
was my favorite Seth Rollins of the year. Like, I have not liked Seth.
I cannot argue with that because he's been so just
He's been
piss-poor
so
booked
boring.
and a catchphrase machine. At least this showed a little bit of depth, but I feel like they don't quite know how to book the good guy overall without him being kind of a smarmy asshole, and that kind of hurts in the long run.
Well, yeah,
so.
all you have to do to figure that out is look at Becky. You know what I mean? She doesn't.
Yeah,
they don't
same
know.
idea
It's the
there,
same thing,
so.
except she doesn't have the chair. Now, even that, dude, the verbiage of Becky and Lacey Evans tonight was, I mean, I thought it went on too long, but it was crazy. The stuff they were saying was so precise in a way, or different than usual. I was like, what the fuck? They're actually like saying this shit back and forth. And then, Becky attacks her. There was a lot of attacking tonight. Everybody was like, all right, bring your shit. We're facing each other Sunday. What the fuck? Okay, now I'm going to fucking hit you. And we're facing each other Sunday. Like, there was a lot of that. There was classic wrestling selling of a pay-per-view tonight for the first time in a long time. There's been fucking Mondays before a pay-per-view where we're like, what the fuck? There's a pay-per-view Sunday. What the fuck is this?
Yeah,
tonight?
That's another thing too. Like you said, they did successfully build towards the pay-per-view. We haven't seen that happen.
And that's what happens when you have a 20,000 seat arena. Let me explain this one more time for the new people in the chat. 20,000 seats in this arena Sunday for Stomping Ground. 10,000 seats are available, were made available. As in, they expect to only sell up to 10,000 seats. But right now, only 7,000 seats are available. So you can only buy up to 7,000 seats right now. I don't know what the ticket sales are right now. And I know I keep saying right now. I don't know what the sales are. We'll try to look them up, try to figure out the figures, go on the websites, whatever. But as I believe right now, from the last I heard, they were at the 4,500 ticket sales. 4,500 in a 20,000 seat arena. This Sunday. All out, sold out in 15 minutes. 17,528.
And that had more interest on social media than WrestleMania 35 as well.
Wow.
And WWE also lowered the ticket prices, Joe. They lowered them, and they have a Me Plus 3 4-pack offer. So if you buy one ticket, you get 3 tickets
Holy
for
shit.
Sunday. So they have 2 deals going on right now. It's a 2-for-1 special for the $29, like way up in the back.
Yeah.
And then they have a Me Plus 3. So you got 2 adults and 2 children for $43 plus tax.
Man, I'll tell you what, they were doing that stuff in Boston. I would go to the show, and then I would offer, like, you guys, anyone in Boston or anybody in the area who gets to the arena, to sit with me just for free. And we would have a party. It would be so awesome. But unfortunately, this is a little bit further away in L.A. But let me play some of these donations. We haven't played anything yet, and I know you guys have donated. I'm so sorry about this.
Give it a hell yeah!
Let me try to get these.
So WWE goes and
about.
breaks their own wild card rule tonight?
Yes.
They had 6 wild cards.
Yes.
Kevin Owens, New Day, Roman Reigns, Bayley, Elias, and Daniel Bryan. They had all hands on deck and still were only able to put on a half-decent show. End the brand split. Kill me.
Mike Litteris, thank you, man. Yeah, we brought reference to this obviously before too. You knew this was gonna happen. You knew it.
Give it a hell yeah!
Sup guys. Raw was actually okay tonight, not the best but decent. First 30 minutes was okay.
Right.
EC3 was hilarious and so was Bray in a way. But to be honest, I couldn't give a fuck about Stomping Grounds.
Nobody
But
could.
at least Raw did something different for once. 4/10ths.
I actually disagree, Triple Gaming. Here's why I disagree a little bit. I had zero interest in Stomping Grounds before. I had zero interest. Not only did I have zero interest in Stomping Grounds, I was loathing watching it. I was like cringing at it. But after what they did tonight, there's a slight bit of interest in it a little bit because I'm like, okay, everyone's coming at everybody. Let's see what happens Sunday, I guess. Like, that's my feeling. I went from a 0 to a 3. Okay? I'll be honest. I went from a 0, and I'm not kidding, 0, a fucking 0. 0 interest to a fucking 3 out of 10. And even though that's shit, still, even though that may be shit, bullshit shit, it's something. It's fucking something.
Give it a hell yeah!
The cool thing to do nowadays is bash WWE no matter what. If you didn't think tonight was decently good, stop watching. Tired your negative asses. Joe, we know PPVs that look lackluster are pretty good. Great Balls of Fire, WrestleMania examples.
LX's sweet ass. The biggest example there is Great Balls of Fire. Everybody made fun of it. Great Balls of Fire. Vince is retarded. That's dumb. Great Balls of Fire was better than Extreme Rules.
Give it a hell yeah!
I actually quite enjoyed the show. They're utilizing storytelling. Heath Slater segment was brutal and good. They're giving Raw a little bit of a sharper edge. Used a few more PG-13 words. And damn, those chair shots. I give tonight 7/10ths. Not too shabby.
Stow Code Steve Boston. Wow, he gives it a 7 out of 10. Damn, man. I still can't go that high. I thought the beginning was a 7 out of 10. I'd give the rest of it a 5.
Glorious! No, I won't give in. I won't give in till we're victorious. And I will defend. I will defend.
Fernando 408.
I'm fucking Bobby Roode. Triple H wants to fuck me. Glorious!
Hey Joe, first time donating. Been watching since Undertaker's streak was broken at Mania.
Oh my
I am
God.
going through a divorce at the moment, and during this depressing time your show and entertainment is what puts a smile on my face. Thanks and have a good show.
Oh, man. Fernando, thank you so much for the $24, man. I'm so sorry, buddy. I mean, it probably isn't 100% on you because of that depression, so... yeah, man, I hope we can help a little bit with some of that. And yeah, come listen to us whenever you're feeling shitty. It's very awful to go through a divorce and to go through a breakup even, because it's even someone's alive, it feels like they've died. If somebody you've broken up with and you were in love with or you were married to, all those memories kind of fucking haunt you and shit. And you think about things you were going to do with them or you talked about, and you look and you go to tell them about it and you realize they hate you now. So it's a very difficult thing, especially if you didn't want the divorce, really. So I get that, man. I hope everything gets better, and that sucks. But, at some point you're going to come out on the other end, and then you're going to be like, God, thank God, like or whatever, that I fought through that because now I'm alive today and I'm feeling good and I met this new person or whatever. But right now you probably feel like, what the fuck? What a waste of everything and can't breathe and shit. But yeah, man, thank you for that $24 and thanks for donating for the first time. And yeah, man, sign the prenup. Sign the prenup, dudes. Oh my God, King is gonna be fucking Kane.
My name is Kane and I'm donating.
What's the difference between black people and snow tires?
Oh my god.
Snow tires don't sing when you put chains on them. Going to attempt a Mexican joke. Hope it's a good one.
Oh god.
Why do black people hate verbs? Because they hate getting killed, raped, and hanged.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Wow, racist asshole, you piece of shit. Son of a bitch, racist asshole! Oh my god. By the way, somebody earlier said, you know, you must be a racist, Joe, for letting racist asshole on the show. Well, I got news for you. Racist asshole is black. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Damn.
What if I told you that? Breaking news. That's all I'll tell you. Jake, what are you, Jay-Z? What the fuck was that laugh?
Half joking and half laughing.
Dude, you sounded like Jay-Z. Like, what the fuck?
I was joking and laughing.
Me and Beyonce.
He's got a black racist asshole. Wow.
Shh, don't tell everybody. We just real quick mentioned
Keep
it.
it on the down low.
Just saying. Just I think I know who it is. I mean, I know who it is, but my God, racist asshole, you son of a bitch.
Evil bastard.
But I'm pretty sure he might be a hater.
No one can love you till you love yourself. So if you're going through a divorce, fuck them and use it as time to reinvent yourself.
Yeah, and you know what? Start fucking all these women and putting them on your Facebook. Put them on your Facebook with like their panties all over your face. All right, no, but anyway. So anyway, we got more donations to play. I have to take a break for a quick second from those.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much going on, and just really quick, poor Dana Brooke. I don't know if you caught that, but she broke her face.
Well, dude, on top of everything, for the people that were at Raw tonight, and I know that most of the people in the crowd were like from LA, so they were like, "Oh, I can't see through the smoke. All the traffic is jammed.
Smog.
Oh, it's June, so I'm gay too," and all this SJW shit. But yeah, they got to see the show open with Dana Brooke busted the fuck open. So
yeah, Sarah Logan threw her into the turnbuckle, and she went and pulled a Goldberg face first into the turnbuckle, except not the post, but the buckle itself, and you can see right above her right eye is just leaking like a faucet. I tagged you in one of the videos from fans that were there, and oof, doesn't look pretty. So
I don't know if the fans know. Like Monday Night Raw,
they stopped the match right away.
Really, Monday Night Raw has been so bad all year, at a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4 out of 10. That tonight, for me to give it a 5.5 out of 10, and I would give it a 5.5 out of 10, with a slight thumbs up for attempted continuity, the pacing, and the jokes that actually landed. I won't say the commentary team was good, because they weren't.
They weren't abysmal, though.
But they weren't noticeable. Okay? That's the one thing I'll say. I didn't even notice the commentary team.
It wasn't heinous like it usually is, to the point where it's so abrasive and infuriating that you have to, put the show on mute to get a brief reprieve and sanity.
Right, exactly. Like, they weren't... Nothing they said made me go, like, what the fuck? They were just kind of shitty... they were just kind of garbage. Like, they didn't say...
Speaking of garbage, I wish they wouldn't go for the cheap heat so much. I mean, did they really have to bring up, the Lakers and...
Oh, they brought up the LA like 900 times.
I know, because you're there and that's what you're going for, but it's the cheap heat. But just do it once, maybe twice at most. But I feel like they brought up, that whole just common bullshit of, oh, your sports team sucks and you guys made a bad trade and, Lonzo Ball's gone and now you got... Oh, you didn't win a championship. Like, I get it. Do it once. You don't need to keep doing it. And Daniel Bryan's promo, by the way, with him saying, some of the things that he brought up, and he was fucking fantastic. I mean, he's usually great, but I feel like he was on on his game tonight. It was entertaining. So,
yeah, I got something for the Lakers too. The Celtics still have more world championships, so you're not the best, you yellow fucks. Fuck you, Lakers.
I loved Daniel Bryan calling everybody impotent. He said it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And then he tops it all off by saying, "I will excite you." And just the way he, those little, wink and nod moments. Just, you flaccid bastards. Don't worry, Daniel Bryan's here to make you hard. That was basically what he was going for, just in a PG realm. But it was perfect.
Well, the other thing was. Talk about monetize this. Made it onto Raw tonight a little bit.
Yeah, your radio.
You know what's funny? Somebody on Twitter was like yelling at me. I literally tweeted Road Dogg and said, "Looks like we're shopping at the same digital store." And somebody below was like, "It's stock footage, you idiot." And I was like, dickhead, maybe learn to read. I literally made reference to that in my tweet. And then he wrote, "I'm on Patreon." I went, "Oh, sorry."
Jesus. People can't take a joke.
Listen, if you get in a fight with me on Twitter, I'm not really mad at him. I was just fucking, he said something, so I said, "Hey, read the tweet, you fuck." And then he said, "Hey, I'm on Patreon." I'm like, "Oh, Jesus. If you want to fucking argue, like, we can argue. I don't have to, I'm fine on Patreon, I guess. I don't know."
Yeah, see ya, I guess. Sorry.
No, I'm not sorry.
Sorry?
I was fucking with him. He was fucking with me. I was fucking with him.
Sorry?
Fuck it. I'm not going to fucking
terrible.
beg you. I was fucking with him. Fuck
Yeah,
with me,
exactly.
I fuck with him. I didn't
People
say...
just can't take it anymore, you know?
Yeah, and I said it in the tweet, so I was like, "Hey, it's in the fucking tweet."
Speaking of people, I can't wait till eventually you get a hold of Mike Bennett, because I've heard some specifics and I don't know if I believe it. It's reliable for the people that I usually speak to. They're pretty spot on, but I think a lot of it was like a head game. I think they worked WWE into giving them a shit ton of money.
Yeah,
but
because, dude, here's the deal. Like, let's think...
I listened to your show over the weekend. I mean,
you heard what I
obviously-
said? Yeah, it's
yeah. And you made a great point, and I had heard that just before you had said it too, so it lines up. But I guess AEW, they did speak with AEW from what I heard, and they did make them a pretty generous offer, but it wasn't, they didn't have anything planned. It was just like, we would definitely want to get you onto the roster. And just WWE knowing that, hey, they could be heading to AEW was enough to just, get their gander up. They ruffled their feathers.
Here's the theory, right?
Whew.
Mike and Maria are parents. They have to do stuff for their kid. And here's the bottom line. AEW either didn't offer them anything, or AEW said, I mean, yeah, you guys would definitely be looked at. We don't have anything right now, but, at some point we would probably bring you in and whatever, but right now it's just crazy. We're going to figure it out. Because they've added so many people, and they've been looking to add so many people, and Mike and Maria have to wait a little bit longer. So then Ring of Honor is only capable of paying them somewhere between $40,000 to $60,000 each. So you're looking at about $120,000 right there. Probably they're making more now in WWE than Ring of Honor, just slightly, because their contracts are a little bit better than last time. So if you look at the idea that they could go to AEW, WWE obviously offered them over the mark, because they've been offering people retarded shit, like retarded contracts. So let's look at it this way. I don't know what the contracts are. I don't know what their contracts are, but I believe that their contract is probably for about $250,000 each. Okay? Mike and Maria at around $150 to $250 each a year. So if you're at that a year, you're looking at over $300,000 a year. Both of them travel together. They can book locker room. So that's one person's salary as far as travel goes. So if they're around, let's say they're around $350,000 a year. $350,000 a year. Knock travel and all that bullshit off. That's $50,000. Knock the taxes off. You're down to about $240,000 or so. So Mike and Maria are looking at probably taking home $200,000 a year, in total. So 5 years.
Each or total altogether?
Total. I think altogether after
you
taxes.
think altogether?
Now no. I'm knocking it down like to like the worst case scenario.
Yeah, worst. Like,
but if they're getting $500,000, which is $250 each a year, which I believe is what they're getting. I believe they're getting $250 each a year. So that's $500,000 a year. Knock off taxes, knock off travel, knock off everything, then add merch, blah blah blah. $400,000 a year, best case scenario probably. So that's $4K a year times 5. So they're going to be able to have over $1 million in 5 years. They're set. At that point, nobody else could offer him that set contract, I don't believe. 5 years, though. So they took they offered this to the Revival type of thing. They offered this to other people. I don't know what the contract is. Me and you are going to have to wait until some shit comes out about this. I'm just guessing. I have no fucking idea what I'm saying right now, but I'm just going off that, AEW is probably only able to offer them in between $80,000 to $120,000 each. So I would assume WWE offered them more. It's probably around $250 each. And 5 years, plus they get some merchandise shit. I don't understand why the WWE would do this. I mean, obviously it's only to keep them from going other places and doing well. So at this point, will Mike and Maria become players on some show besides 205 Live? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. It's going to be, if they have a positive outlook, which Mike does have, they're going to have a much better time, and they understand, they don't care apparently about anything else. Maybe they were forced into it too. Maybe it was like, honey, what are we going to do? We got the kid. It's me and you. Nothing else has worked that we tried to do. They clearly tested the water, Jake. To me, Maria and Mike, they tried to bring back their podcast. They were working on they were doing YouTube stuff. She's got a business. Yeah. A party planning thing type of business. I'm assuming that's going like mediocre, and that the YouTube and the podcast didn't go the greatest. They realized, wow, it'll be really tough to build that up. And all things considered, that they had to do this. They just had they couldn't say no to the money. Okay, it was no deal, and they had to take the bank offer. They had to do it. They, in their hearts, they may have wanted to take a risk. And perhaps if they didn't have a kid, maybe they would have taken the risk. Maybe. But they had to keep their family first and foremost. So. It just shows you how crazy WWE is. Unless they have plans for these two, what the hell was WWE doing, offering them whatever they offered them, which clearly was a lot? I don't know. I guess part of the thing that went along with what I had heard is that they have a bigger plan for him with the cruiserweight division. So, I mean, he's the top. He's kind of like the Enzo fill-in right now. He's sort of the Enzo. Meanwhile, Enzo's challenging the Paul brothers to a wrestling match. Well, that's funny. Yeah, I couldn't help but laugh. He FaceTimed, I think it was Jake Paul, yelling at him at the a different podcast and challenging them to a wrestling match. So Mike and Maria set to make or take home about $2 million in 5 years. Yeah, can't beat that. That's low, low end, plus not considering her business and autograph sessions and merchandising and any bonuses that they incur and. Yep, I mean they could make up to $5 million. It could happen, but I doubt it. But it's even just to make $2.5 million, which is the actual number, $2.5 million, in 5 years, is for them at this point, and be in the biggest wrestling company there is. I mean, shit. After all, Mike Bennett had been on the Independents for 15 years prior to this. So it's like, dude, I've done this all. Let's do this now. I get it. It would be nice if you got something more out of it. We're going to go back to the review. There's just so much to talk about from tonight. WWE desperation mode because of ticket sales, and they deliver a Raw that was probably the best Raw of the year, no matter if it was a 4 or 5 or 6 out of 10 to you. It was arguably probably the best Raw of the year. And we've said so many times before they tried, but... Does Seth Rollins ever show up on Raw? Nice. Does Seth Rollins ever show up on Raw? Yeah. The Goon. Thanks, Goon. Burn it down. I even kind of liked Roman's segment. Again, made Roman look good. Yeah, that's for sure. I'm not complaining about that. Drew tore into him with some scathing words, and I wish Roman just got a little more handsy with Shane. That's it. Yes, it was. I wanted them to really. I wanted that room to get tore apart, kind of, and that didn't happen. But when he brought up Roman's kid, and he was like, "I'm gonna disfigure you in front of your kids," that was fucking hilarious to me. And then Roman just turned immediately and went to the back, which is what you would do. So even though he snapped, he looked like a man possessed, and especially being after Father's Day, you get that emotional. It was very well done. It shouldn't come to the point where, oh shit, we're not selling tickets for them to go ahead and actually try. That's what I'm still having a hard time accepting. But I mean, I'm thankful that they did do as much as they did tonight. Yeah. But you figure for a pay-per-view, Joe, for a friggin' pay-per-view, tickets have never been this cheap with packages. 2-for-1 tickets for $23 at a pay-per-view. Yeah,
I don't give a shit what pay-per-view it is. Money in the Bank was hundreds of dollars for nothingness seats.
Yeah.
And that was in Hartford. They cut already, like we said, half of the arena out. Half of the arena. You went from 20,000 to 10,000. And when we were talking about this on Out of Nowhere, they had only sold, I think we said, 4,000 tickets?
Yeah, it was 40.
And they had given away an extra 3,000, so they were up to 7,000 out of 10,000.
I'm pretty sure, fucking, it's horrible right now. I'm pretty sure 4,500 tickets are sold, to actual people. And the rest are all speculation on ticket third parties and things like that.
And now they're doing the Me Plus 3 package. I mean, you're getting 4 tickets. 4 tickets for $40.
4 tickets for $40, man.
How do you, Christ, I would go just because it's so cheap. I mean, that's really what it's come down to. I'm blown away that it's that inexpensive to go to a pay-per-view.
I just can't
believe it. And I guess
it.
where the arena is, too. I mean, there are people mentioning it in the chat before, and a couple people on Twitter had said that, it's not like an ultimately remote location, but it's not easy to get to for where it is. So that's part of it as well. So it's just, why do it in these locations? Why don't they think ahead if people don't want to have to travel to the outskirts of towns?
This is one of the worst combinations ever. What they're at right now with ratings, the interest of the company, and then they're at an arena that's in bumblefuck. I liken it to New Hampshire. The New Hampshire arena, and I can't remember the name of the New Hampshire arena, but it's in a city area in New Hampshire it's probably Manchester maybe, so I don't remember now. But wherever it is, it's still kind of hard to get to, and honestly, there's just not enough people in the state and area.
Is it the SNHU arena?
It might be. I went to it twice. I saw
it holds 11,000 seats.
Yeah, it's sort of small, but it wasn't even filled. And for it to be, we're in the Northeast, so you would expect to fill anything in the Northeast, and it didn't fill. It was probably 90% full, and I just thought to myself, wow, this is really out there, and it wasn't that big, and it was because it was New Hampshire. It might have been even a little bit less than that, and it was awesome that it was out there because, I scared the shit out of Justin LaBar, who flew over here for whatever reason. LaBar flew out and to New Hampshire, and it was. Worcester's good because it's right. People in Boston, it's only about 45 minutes to drive out to Worcester. The Worcester area is pretty populated, so WWE in Massachusetts usually can do well because they can do all different. They can go to Amherst, they can go to Worcester, they can go to Boston, they can go to Lowell for their NXT events. So many different places, but this place is out there, man. It's kind of like Mohegan Sun. The only difference is, again, Mohegan Sun gets traffic from Mass, from Rhode Island, from Connecticut. So they can draw in traffic too, and this is just way out there. So I get that there is a handicap, but the bottom line is look at the attendance for this place during Raws and things like that. It still draws pretty decently for their Raws and other events, and pay-per-view-wise, they usually sell more at pay-per-views than at a Raw. So for it to be at this level is kind of amazing. I almost think a Raw would sell better, not just because the ticket prices, but because local people would be like, "Oh, Monday Night Raw's coming, cool." But because it's a pay-per-view, they're like, "I don't know, I haven't been watching, I don't know what this is," or they don't even know what's happening.
Yeah, you hear Stomping Grounds, versus Raw. Raw is more of a known, name and brand.
Yes.
You could be onto something there. And the way the tickets are, too, I mean, they completely... usually they have the back of the stage blocked off anyways. Then those are tarped off.
Right.
They tarped off the entire hard camera side.
Oh, yeah.
The entire... So now the wrestlers are acting to nobody.
I'm telling you...
It's got to be so disappointing to walk out there, too, and you just see it dark.
It's got to be infuriating and depressing and fucking demoralizing when you watch the old WWE and the places are just filled and you're here now and there's that. And then you're also like Dean Ambrose in the back hating everything that's being given to you and trying to get through that something has to be done. Tonight's Raw felt like it was fucking kids in the candy store. I'm sorry. Again, people out there that are like, this show is just as bad as every other one, you're on fucking drugs, okay? I'm sorry. Tonight was a little bit better than usual, and there was a noticeable concerted effort. They had more fun tonight than normal. I promise you, those wrestlers did. And there was probably still a bunch of shit that didn't get on TV that could have gotten on TV. But for a scramble mode after doing almost nothing, they amped up every storyline. And they even Shane McMahon and Roman. It didn't feel like every other week it was like 30 minutes of talking and insult and I'm the best in the world crap. Tonight it was like we're celebrating in this room. F you, Roman. I hope your daughter, blah, blah. Fuck that. Here he comes. And he punches them and he fights everybody. He beats the shit out of people. And I don't even like Roman, and I don't like those cheap Roman segments usually, but I would give Roman Reigns segments over the last 4 weeks. His segments, I've given like a 1 out of 10, they've been 2 out of 10. This was
infuriating.
This tonight, that segment, I would probably give that a 5 out of 10. And again, while that's still not really that good, that was much better than what they had been doing. I just feel you can't argue that. It was better than what they had been doing a little bit. Oh, God. Oh, God. The mayor of Black Mountain. Ugh. Oh. That's good shit.
Literally.
EC3 should come back with the tubba 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 theme and bop his head up and down like that. That's exactly like turning Justin Bailey's shits into gold. All my life I eat fried rice, for the ran I am inside. Hashtag Gerber baby.
Gerber baby. Hey, I missed that video. I will try to get that video back up too. I know I'm still unprivating a lot of videos. I'm working on it. Mayor of Black Mountain, thanks for the $4.99. And let's see, there's more to go here. Let's bring it on.
I'd about you guys, but I'm tired having Becky/Seth relationship shoved down our throat every week.
Yeah,
it's the new Cena Nikki Bella, and I feel that wasn't as shoved down as much. Why not showcase Charlotte and Andrade? They're both heel. Or Finn Balor gay BF.
Wow. That's why that chick left him, right? Thank you very much. Who was that? Pussy Lips McGee? Peyton Royce's pussy.
Peyton Royce's pussy.
Hey Joe and Long John Jake. I didn't watch Raw, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. But the chances of someone enjoying Raw is out of 10. Tommy milking your cock out of 10. Hashtag aggressive masturbation.
Well, tonight Tommy was milking something.
Kind of enjoyed it. I mean, not great, not like amazing, not wow, Raw's back or anything like that. But I enjoyed it. It was a tolerable 5 out of 10 for me.
Give it a hell yeah!
Joe and Jake, do you guys know how long the Hardys contract is? Choke me during ejaculation.
I have no idea what the fuck the Hardys are doing, dude. 1 minute it seems like they're going to be gone. The next minute it seems like I think they're in the same situation Maria and Mike are in, or were in. I think they're trying to figure out. I think
we don't know with Jeff, him being injured, if they've tacked on more time. I know when Matt had an issue, they said they didn't, but you never know with WWE because it could be at the very end and they can just tack on more time. So I have no idea.
Why did the Revival, New Day, Owens and Sammy give an FOK about Bryan versus Rollins?
Well, Spaz Phoenix, thank you
They
for
were
the $5.
all in and out like, okay, also Brock is gonna be the ref?
You think Brock's going to be the ref? I think Shane McMahon's going to be the referee. We had heard that because Shane doesn't have a match on Sunday, and that seems to be the most, likely culprit.
What was up with the Revival though? Did Rollins didn't he do something to them earlier, or did I miss something?
Not at this point, no.
So that kind of did make no sense, huh?
Yeah, I mean that is true. I didn't even pick up on it at that point. It didn't bother me.
I mean, I thought when everybody ran down, I started being like, "What the fuck? Why is everybody coming out?" All right.
Yeah, I mean,
that's all I thought. That's all I thought about.
Worked because you figured, Baron Corbin has been working with Shane and everybody for a while now. Essentially, like he's not in that group, but he is, working with the heels. And I don't know. It just felt like they
because
heels face kind of thing.
Yeah, so I don't really. That didn't make any sense. There were some things that didn't make sense tonight. There were some things I didn't like you said. I wasn't a fan. I didn't like Alexa Bliss's backstage segment with Nikki Cross or whatever. I didn't like Paul Heyman, his promo thing. It was just too long, and I know what they're doing, so it makes sense. I get it. It does make sense, and you kind of had to do something. You want his presence there to be like, maybe Brock will show up, and that was really, again, just to make people think stay to the end of the show type of thing. So I get it, but it's just been done so many times that was one of the things where it was like, oh yeah, that's the same old Raw right there. And
really quick, I kind of do get it, because I'm going back through and I'm checking my notes. So Kofi is, he gets the Trouble in Paradise and Daniel Bryan, and that's when Kevin, Sammy, and the Revival run out.
Right.
Now, the Revival essentially didn't necessarily fit in there entirely, but Kevin and Sammy did.
Right.
And, so obviously the Usos come to even that out, and then, you get the rest of the baby faces and the New Day, and they're clearing from the ring. So that did work in that sense. The Revival essentially didn't need to be involved, but the Revival and the Usos have bad blood, so I guess that works. So I understand why Kevin and Sammy ran out, because of all the interaction they had earlier, with the rest of the New Day. So that fits.
Completely off topic of WWE. The other day, if you remember, I was talking about the referee that I know, Kevin Quinn.
Yeah.
He's a good referee. Reffed a lot of matches for Top Rope Promotions. I told you, man, I've watched this guy become a referee. I was there kind of when he started. He started late. I believe it's only been a few years now. He's become a referee called upon by so many promotions now. It's unbelievable. I spoke to him at FanFest in Rhode Island. He was actually he was running the thing, the tables for Arn Anderson and people like that. A lot of times guys like that in the business get called to do those things. So he was helping the Four Horsemen the whole time. And, he just said to me, he's like, man, I can't believe it. I'm so busy. It's unbelievable. And so Kevin, man, he's on fire. And the other day, people saw footage of Moxley and Cass and Enzo. So for the people that were
at Six Flags,
people that were wondering who the referee is, I've been talking about, who's been getting booked everywhere, I'm telling you, he's going to be in somewhere, Ring of Honor, WWE, somewhere. He's going to be somewhere because he's been so good on the indies. He's got to be going somewhere. And there it is. That's him. That's Kevin. He's the referee there. You'll see him in a lot of matches. And really, if you look at a lot of matches, Brad Hollister, Jack Swagger, a lot of things like that, you will see. Just look for bald-headed Kevin. He has been the referee in so many matches. It's unbelievable. He's gotten himself in amazing condition too. He's the referee that I worked with him so many times, and he's just a good guy. And it's crazy that all this good stuff's happening for him. So we don't often talk about referees here, but I've seen this guy. He's very in control of matches, knows exactly what's going on. He's very believable in the ring, and apparently he's good with directing talent and stuff like that. So hats off to him. Congratulations. For years of paid off work and getting booked everywhere. And it proves that, man, you can start late and get somewhere in wrestling. Spaz Phoenix.
Party.
Stomping Ground has Ricochet versus Joe. If we get Andrade versus Balor rematch, they're your matches of the night.
Yeah.
Potentially, Spaz Phoenix, that's true. It's been hard to predict matches of the night recently, I feel like. You say match of the night, the match comes out, and they kind of have a middle-of-the-road good thing, and then somebody else comes out with a better match. It's very weird. It can all depend on the mood of what they're given, what they're allowed to do, who produces
the match. And they added
Big
E and Xavier versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. And I think if they give that, could be a really good match. So
yeah,
it's what we essentially got tonight. But if they go a step above what we got on Raw, I think it could be really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was good tonight for the 2 out of 3 falls. Essentially tonight was a 6-man tag, but essentially, that if we get that on Sunday with just the 4-men, it'll be really good.
We got a super chat coming in from Mike Litteris. AEW Frighter Fest, WWE Sleeping Grounds. Well, we'll see. We're going to see, man. It's going to be free, too. Fighter Fest free.
Super chat. Super chat.
Joe, what's your wrestling finisher?
Apollo the Leader, thank you, man. It was a super kick. So
no way.
It was a super kick.
Shawn Michaels Jr. did a super kick? I'm shocked.
Did a super kick.
Super chat. Party.
Rollins violated EY with that chair.
Yeah, dude, that was sick. And I'll tell you, Spaz Phoenix, speaking of
Right in
chairs,
the back of the neck.
yeah, Baron Corbin got hit in the back of the head. Not EY. Eric Young. It was later on Baron Corbin took a shot, so much that the referee came over to him during the attack, which was weird.
Yeah,
to
it
squeeze
looked out
his
of
hand.
place.
Yeah, he was squeezing his hand and checking on him because if he was bad, he would have stopped what was going on, which would have been horrible because it would have looked really bad. But he could have. The referee could have held him back, and then Baron could have like smiled like, and that's how Raw would have to gone in the air. But yeah, so he did hit him in the kind of caught the back of Seth Rollins' head. Did Baron Corbin with the chair shot? I know you're talking about EY earlier, but it wasn't as bad as that, I don't believe. But he did beat the shit out of EY with the chair. I do agree with that.
Super chat. Super chat.
Plot twist, Triple H runs Raw.
Maybe tonight. I don't know. Man of 1,005 holds. What up, man of 1,005 holds? How you been, you fuck?
Hell
You
yeah.
beast. Hey, dude, I'm. Oh my god, how far are we behind?
Quite a while.
Really?
A little bit, seems like.
How is Bailey a face? Helping two heels beat a heel in a face.
That's
It's
what I'm saying. A
wrestling
lot of times.
Fugas.
That was weird. That
Yeah,
was.
it's odd, and that's what they do with a lot of their faces. They make them out to be bullies, or they have them do heelish things that are kind of assholish and very selfish. And I understand somewhat because this played into the storyline, but typically it doesn't. Braun's the easiest one to point to, but 9 times out of 10, it's just that's how they handle their faces. They book them like assholes.
They don't know. Well, we've said this for a long time too. Is they don't know how to book faces. They have
No, not
they have
anymore.
no
They don't,
fucking
unless
clue.
they have a really, really strong heel to go against, where it's counter for counter. Then they just don't know how to handle the faces. They unless they have a really strong heel who's constantly one-upping them and giving them something to fight against. Then they just don't know what to do. They kind of make the faces float around and
Do a
pick
little
on people.
basketball dance off the
It's
concrete.
weird.
I mean, I'm just so sick of you little meth head devil worshippers. I'll be honest, I'd like to take a big bite out of your face.
So let me get this straight. After months of crappy Raws and SmackDowns and PPVS, the WWE lowers ticket prices for fans to sold out a garbage PPV this Sunday. The fuck out of here, LMFAO.
Oh man, so yeah, I mean, I it's true. It's weird. John Wills. We finally found out what will make WWE try to do a little better. It wasn't even the TV ratings. TV ratings like Vince. They did stuff though. Like here's the thing. Everybody's so dumb. The WWE fanboys and John Wills. Thank you for the $10, man. The dumb WWE suck-ups out there are like, oh, they don't care about ratings anymore. Well, what about ticket sales? Like they never have an answer for that one because it's like they just keep defending for some reason. Okay,
They do care about ratings.
TV
It's just
yes.
not their main concern.
We know they do. They care about ratings because they canceled SmackDown Live events. They canceled house shows so that they could make sure that the wrestlers were available for the TV shows.
And
So,
they lost
bullshit.
a great deal of money on those nights because those
Right.
gates bring in more money than the Raw or SmackDown.
But they don't need the money because they have the Bonesaw man over in Saudi. So here's the thing. They care about ratings. They've already proven that. They've made that very clear. And they've come out even and broken the fourth wall, if you want to call it that, or whatever, with the McMahons being like, we're going to do better, we're going to do better.
Yeah.
Now, they didn't do better, but they still did that, and they still are aware because they did that, and they changed the house shows so many times. Those are the two reasons, especially the house show changes. Those are the facts that tell
They
you
always
they
inflate
do
their
care.
numbers and things like that, but they're extremely worried about ticket sales because, especially in this instance, on top of everything,
Yeah.
I mean, they already limited the capacity, So
Right.
for them to have even less sales is extremely troublesome because the arena is going to look dead.
Oh,
It's
they
going to
knew.
be extremely quiet, and it's going to look just horrid on
They
TV.
absolutely knew. They if the arena's here, they sold everything on TV here is being sold. Everything else is not allowed to be sold. It's crazy. And the front rows around, the first 10 rows on the camera side are for sale. And those aren't sold.
Yeah, and that's it. They're only doing basically, less than half of the way around the ring to be sold. They're instructing wrestlers only to fight on the the non-hard camera side.
I have not taken a phone call tonight. I apologize for that. I took a lot of calls earlier today when I did my Q&A show. My Cronin Speaks Anything Goes. So let me take a phone call. By the way, some guy in the chat earlier goes, "What's killing your channel is the trolls and all the assholes in the chat." No, my channel is growing every single week, so there's no killing of the channel. There's literally 1,200 people watching the stream.
It's growing like my waistline, baby.
I appreciate the attempt at trying to help me or something, but no, we're growing every week. 513, hello.
Joe, this is Devious Dave Rose here. How you doing, Joe and Jake?
What's up, Rose?
I just want to lay everything out on the fucking table here. I want you to know that 100% of the time you are wrong, and 100% of the time I am right. Okay? I am the one with the high IQ, and I know what I'm talking about, okay?
All right, well, I believe that, Dave. I mean, you're Canadian. You got to know what you're talking about.
You read a lot of books.
Listen to me,
I mean, a bisexual fucking deviant is your fucking prime minister.
Listen to me here. You will not talk over me, Joe. If you talk over me, I will just continue to talk, and I will talk in this tone as well. And I just want you guys to know that no matter what anybody says, especially that faggot Will Tactics in the chat, whatever he says, his IQ is very low and mine is extremely high. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave. Oh my God.
Thank you very much.
Yankee Doodle's little balls.
Damn. Dave, laying down those facts.
Yankee Doodle's
reads a lot of
balls.
books, gets a lot of puss.
I'll tell you what, man. That was a fucking pretty badass Dave Rose impression.
Well,
that was pretty spot on.
Yankee Doodle's little balls.
I'm going to keep talking over you in this tone.
Let me tell you.
Let me tell you, I am right. Damn, that was good.
Did you see, by the way, Tommy stuff a fucking muffin down his fucking gullet earlier?
No.
I hope to God that Dave Rose is listening.
Is it on Twitter?
Oh, no, it's on his YouTube. Oh, God.
Oh, on his YouTube?
Yeah, he stuffs this fucking... Oh, Christ, it's fucking disgusting.
Oh, God.
I mean, real quick, I'll show it.
Yeah, you're going to have to now. You've piqued my interest. Terry and Gordon said they can have it. I did before. I don't know if you can now with taking a call. Let's see.
Can you hear this?
I love you too.
No.
But don't eat me. Oh, and that's what I'm going to do to you.
Lost the sound.
I'm going to eat you up.
Well, thank you, Yankee Doodle's little balls.
I love you.
Ugh. Just fucking disgusting. Ugh.
Aren't you such a cute cup?
Yikes.
He's choking, and it's like, you see him, looks like he blew Papa Smurf over and over again.
I played that earlier on my Q&A stream, and damn near threw up on myself. But I appreciate that.
That's pretty vile.
Shit bum.
It's gross.
Where the hell is Bray Wyatt? Give me what I want, Joe.
John Montgomery, thank you for becoming a $5 shit bum, John Montgomery. I love you. You are a shit bum, and I love all the shit bums on my channel out there. I believe the news was leaked out that he may be at Raw because they had all hands on deck. I think they did everything possible to generate interest. One was the Brock at the end of the night, maybe. We knew that wasn't going to happen. But then also the leak that, Bray Wyatt might be at Raw tonight, and so...
Well, that's why I didn't comment on it at all, because I didn't believe it yet. A lot of people brought it up to me, and I just kind of downplayed it.
Yeah.
I didn't believe that he would be there. I even said it on Twitter. I'm like, I really don't think that's what's going to happen yet. I think they're going to hold off. So
good on them by trying something.
Hey, Joe, Raw was pretty good 6/10. Also, Joe, I hope you don't mind, but I use your McDonald's. rant to open up my stream. Love this channel, all.
Malk Gooley, thank you for the $5. Yeah, man, go ahead, use it away. I don't remember what rant you're talking about, which one, because I've probably had like...
I think that's the one where you had Bailey, for the manager that you called when you were bitching about the Egg McMuffin.
Yeah, dude, that's what they're referring to. If you want to really laugh, well, I guess you're not my friend on there, and I don't accept friend requests on there, but that was an actual broadcast from my personal Facebook page. My whole family, friends and coworkers saw that, and they were like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" I don't know. It's just funny to think that my whole all these people on Facebook,
everybody, personal.
Like, Dan, what are you doing? And I'm like, motherfucking goddamn McMuffin. Dan,
I just wanted a sausage McGriddle.
Thanks for subbing, Dan. What up? If you haven't subscribed and you're new, hit that sub button. Don't miss my videos every day. Come on.
That was O'Shea Jackson Jr. next to our Truth front row.
I saw Carmella, but yeah, she did blackface too.
Yeah, it was kind of a...
She did blackface.
Where's
all the outrage?
Not black, but
I have a feeling that Triple H is taking over Raw.
I have a feeling Triple H is taking over Raw. I don't know. Bobby Means, thank you for the $2. It was a different vibe tonight. I don't care what you thought. There was a different vibe tonight. They tried something.
About to get it, man. Here we go. About to get it, man. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, no.
I mean, for real, after a quote-unquote good Raw after months and months of bad TV. The WWE wants PPV ticket sales to go lower for a low-rated PPV?
John Wills, thank you for the $5. Listen, I'll tell you what. The one thing you know is you found the fucking answer. You want WWE to start being good? Stop buying tickets. That told you right there. There's the answer.
I mean, even when they had low turnouts to Raws and SmackDowns, it's still not as low of a turnout as what they saw coming for the pay-per-view. So that's what really troubled them.
Yeah,
Think about how many times, because they can usually work their TV magic. And they can make it look like, we've said it before, they've started moving things up more. Trailbound had said that to us a few weeks back, where they've actually brought the stage further up in the arena, so it looks like less is tarped off and it's more sold out, but really they're just, giving access to less seats. And, it's all about, because when you go and see it live, you're like, oh, wow, things are so small, it looks so much larger and on TV, and that's usually how it goes for a lot of productions. But there's a lot of tricks and camera angles and things like that. So they're panic-stricken because they already had a minimal response and sales for this one show. That's their key. And isn't it just absolutely a kick in the balls, infuriating, knowing that when it takes this for them to be motivated? These are the kind of shows we could be getting every week.
Right.
I mean, nothing changed. It's not like they got a new star on Raw and we're like, oh, wow, that's what made it more entertaining. There wasn't a new belt. There wasn't a new champion. It was nothing new. It was just they gave a damn. They tried. They listened to some of the fans. They had some continuity. They acknowledged some storylines, some old storylines, and they worked hard to, sell the show for Sunday. Well, why can't it be like this regularly?
Somebody said to me, they were like, why would you be happy with this? And I'll tell you why, because I'm not happy with it, but I'm happier with it. I'm sorry, I am happier with a 5. I believe tonight was a 5.5 out of 10. I am happier with that than a 4, 3, 2, or 1, of course. So
absolutely,
this is a no-brainer to me. If I could get this show every week, there would be more to talk about, more to be happier about, and then be angry about lots of things too. But it would be a better show. A 1 or a 2 or a 3 is like fucking sleep. And that is not good. That is not fun. You guys have been here. We barely talked about the show before sometimes. Because we're like, oh yeah, these things happened, I guess, again. There's nothing
there's nothing to discuss that we can add any type of valuable input towards. There's nothing that we can give an opinion on because it's just so straightforward and usually involves such just nonsense and nonsensical bullshit that there's nothing that you can even comment on or add to. You just literally, what are you going to do? Give a verbal recap of the show, and just this happened, good night. That's not what you want to do. I mean, you can just go to the YouTube page for that. We're here to give you our critiques, our insights. It's very unmotivating to watch something that's so just piss poor and then you're supposed to come on here and give your commentary about it. Well, if they don't care, why should I care? Tonight, it felt like they cared. Just the wrestling alone tonight was enjoyable. Even if that was a big problem for the past few weeks. It took so long to get into a match that it just bored you silly. It really did. At least tonight, everything we had in the beginning, it played off quickly. It wasn't that long. We got to the first commercial break. Literally, you saw everything that happened. Everybody came out. They all hit Elias in the ring, and then we got the 5-man, number one contendership match for the U.S. title right away.
Uh-huh.
That was a great way to start the show.
Yeah, it was kind of chaotic. It was chaotic. It was like, whoa, what's going on?
It was a bit unpredictable and not something you expected. And that was a good match. It wasn't an amazing match, but they didn't go like way overboard in all these, bullshit finishes and things like that. I like the fact that they made Braun still look like a monster by having multiple people have to help to pin him down. He didn't run away like he usually does or leave the match or do something foolish. He got beat clean, but it took multiple stars to get him out of the match, get him eliminated. I like the fact that it was an elimination match. That was a nice
fun
thing for them to have.
That was the biggest thing about it, dude, was that the people were getting eliminated. It was like, oh, this is fun that people are getting eliminated like this. It was exciting. Wasn't the greatest thing ever, but it kept the attention because it was like, all right, this is kind of chaotic. I get it.
It just wasn't a cheap finish. You actually felt satisfied seeing, Ricochet go ahead and get the win, and then you could see either Ricochet or Miz, and I said, oh wow, they'll probably go with Miz. He's been kind of floundering for a while, doing everything with Shane, so this kind of makes sense. We'll see what happens with him. And oh wow, they gave it to Ricochet. Fantastic. He's the new guy. I'm really excited, more so than I would be for Samoa Joe and Miz. I'm really looking forward to seeing what him and Ricochet do. And then you see the after attack, and Ricochet stands tall over Samoa Joe. Awesome, excellent way, and much better, finish than he had last week. And it's also good to know that Cesaro's okay. So that was a question we had after last week. So
yeah, I totally forgot. And then at some point I went, oh shit, Cesaro, he's okay. I just realized that in the middle of the match.
I'll kind of just keep going through. And one of the donators made a great point before as well. They're forcing the relationship of Seth and Becky on us just so hardcore.
Fuck that.
Very unnecessary. And I knew once they brought attention to it on social media, on Instagram and whatnot, that they were a couple, that WWE was going to run with it. I mean, it's their two top stars. But the way they're doing it is so unnatural. I even give them better credit when it came to Nikki and John, because they had the total whatever shows, Total Bellas, Total Divas, and they would only kind of reference it now and again, and it didn't come up for a long time until it was a storyline when The Miz and Maurice were taking on Nikki and John. So it really was just something that was kind of a talking point for promos, but it wasn't in your face. Now, you see her backstage consoling him in the ambulance, and then they're talking.
But let me play. I mean, when Renee was here and Dean Ambrose was here, it was annoying that she had to keep answering for him.
Yeah.
But also, if someone's together, I find sometimes we get annoyed and people say stuff like, oh, you could have made it more real, like when he's hurt and everything, like Becky is, why wouldn't Becky be there worried or something like that? So it's kind of like...
she was for Seth, and that worked. But they don't need to be talking strategy about Lacey Evans in the back whispering to each other, and it's the way they do certain things that just seems.
Why is that? I guess I don't get why is that. That seems pretty realistic to me.
It just seems forced and heavy-handed to me. It doesn't feel natural the way they show it at times.
So you mean just the? I mean, I agree. The promos in the back are very robotic.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way
it doesn't matter if it's a relationship though. It's just robotic anyway.
Yeah, it is in general. So
I don't think it's. I don't think it's forced. I just don't want to see it. I wish they didn't really go into that.
That's a good thing too. It's not needed. It's really not.
Like
there's no storyline that's playing off of it. It's just
right. There's no story with it. It's just they're just going with the whole. I
think that's part of it too. Like I just said with John and Nikki, you didn't really get anything from them until it came into a story with a match at Mania. But these two, they're doing it just because.
Do you know how you do
they're
it?
Cute. They're a couple. They're together, huh?
Do you know
don't you like these two faces together?
Do you know how you do
so
it? Do you know
cheesy.
You could start it this way. I mean, you could use it this way. Let me ask you how you feel about this. I'm not saying I would do this. I'm just saying let me come up with like a fucking hypothetical here. Lacey Evans comes out. Well, Becky, the difference between you and me is I'm a real woman with class. You see, I don't just do what you do and sniff around the locker room for the WWE champion or Universal champion and sleep with whoever the champion is to get somewhere in the company. You know what I mean? So she could actually bring up like, oh yeah, you're with Seth because he's the top guy. Oh, you just happen to be dating the guy who's the Universal champion. But what people don't know about is how many guys you ran through before him and blah blah blah, and you could really kind of get into that. She's like basically calling her a slut, and Becky Lynch seems like far from a slut, so to call her that is like fucked up. So she could bring that up and be like, oh, you know, Seth, or even Lacey's in the back and she says to Seth, you know, it's funny that you fell for Becky's whole thing. You know, she clearly is with you just to use you because you're the top guy in the company right now or whatever.
Yeah, she's using you to get ahead. And that's kind of the thing too.
I'm asking you though. I'm not saying I like this. I'm asking you.
No.
If they do that story, do you like that or no?
I wouldn't even touch on. Well, here's the thing too. Because right now Becky's telling everybody that that's what Lacey Evans is doing. That's the story going right now. Becky is saying that, oh, well, you're currying favors backstage to get these matches. Becky said that multiple times
what I mean,
about Lacey Evans.
The door is open for that.
I think it would fit. I think what you're saying would fit because Becky's, accusing Lacey of being a ring rat, a whore backstage to get herself into advantageous positions, to get these championship matches. So it'd be good for Lacey to turn around and say what you just said. Well, it's funny how, you're dating the Universal Champion and, you went ahead and had to, find yourself in a relationship with the top guy suddenly, how conspicuous and what timing, and so I think what you said would work.
I don't like a storyline. I want to make this clear too. I personally wouldn't like that storyline. I don't want to see that. I do not want to see that. But
if we have to see them at all.
But Lacey Evans mentioning it, like you said, I would like that. If she had said, well, it's funny you found yourself with the Universal Champion, one of the top guys in the company, I wonder why that is. But that's all. She can say that, and that's it. Move on. Don't get into it. But I agree with you that I'm not really bothered by them talking strategy in the back. To me, that makes sense. Now, how they're talking and the way they're being filmed and what they're saying, I don't like that. But
because it's very unnatural when they're not facing each other. They're standing side by side, so they're both facing the camera and kind of looking this way. And that's the thing. It feels very unnatural.
But I wish we didn't get it at all. Right? I wish you're like me. Yeah. I wish we didn't. I don't pretend you pretend Charlotte doesn't know Andrade Cien Almas.
Exactly.
So can you pretend Becky and Seth don't know each other? Because that would be nice. But now you can't because now you fucking tweeted it out everywhere.
But her being in the ambulance with him is fine. Showing compassion, she's still a face. That works out well. She's there. She's worried about him. Okay. But, you don't need to do it all the time. It's the fact of, if it made sense, if it fits. But they're just doing it oh, hey, remember, these two are together. You like it because they're a couple, right? Come on, kids, nudge, nudge. And that's the thing I have a problem with this. And it would be interesting for them to use it now because, that was the very next segment. Becky comes out and she outright says, Lacey Evans curries favors backstage. And she could do the fans a favor by kicking Lacey's ass all over Los Angeles. And that's when Lacey comes out and says, my life has been hard. I've had a hell of a story. And I'm a real United States Marine. And, she said she could attend boot camp by running and kicking her ass all over the place. And this is what the women's division actually deserves. So right then and there, she could have added in, well, it's funny how you're telling me that I'm, slumming it up backstage to get this title match. But really, you're the one, currying favors by dating the WWE Universal Champion.
Right.
And like you said, that's all that needs to be said.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think too much of that's going to annoy everybody. Clearly, people don't like the whole relationship thing, too. I wish WWE would kind of pick up on that. They don't like it. They didn't really care that much about Nikki Bella and John. I mean, outside people did, so they had some validation there because it carried over to Divas and all that bullshit. And The Miz and Maurice did work as well. So WWE might think, oh, let's keep going with that. People seem to like that. I think that, yeah, people seem to like it sometimes when it's natural. This doesn't feel natural yet, and I'm worried. So hopefully
I feel like it's been natural with Maurice. That's a great point. She's been a supportive wife, and she was only the wrestler when it actually came time to that match. Besides that, she stayed out of the way.
We got 902 on the phone. Hello.
Hey, man, how you doing? Just wanted to go ahead and plug my Periscope tonight. Reality.
All right. Well, thank you very much for that.
I like what
fucking idiot.
Who was it?
Man, you
Terry
really are a
Gordon
fucking retard idiot, man. I mean, you really, at this point, dude, you probably should kill yourself. Like, I'm not even kidding, bro. You probably should get, when you start talking about periscoping, like your fucking periscope, dude, it's time to it's time to fucking hang the noose, brother. It's time to
you've
fucking
been banned from every other platform possible.
It's just time to go away, man. It's time to fucking go down to Walgreens or whatever you have up there in Canada. I don't know, fucking dildo McFinn's. And just fucking go grab yourself a Tim Hortons and just have your last meal, man. Have your last meal and make a sausage and egg sandwich. Have it, you know what I mean? You can watch a
little bit of poutine.
You can jerk off to Justin Bailey's wife, and then just have yourself some Tim Hortons as your last meal. Grab a step ladder, Chris Benoit yourself, and you'll be ready to go, man. It'll be I'm telling you what, it'll be bliss. It will be bliss.
Our moment of bliss.
A moment of bliss. For your Canadian ass. Robbie Hyde!
Just got back from a trip to Boston. Fucking awesome there.
Why didn't I see you?
Makes me want to move from Orlando to Mass. Since I missed Raw, I'll ask you guys an off-topic question. In your opinion, what was the best Raw of all time? Mine had to be Kurt Angle Milk Truck.
What was the best Raw of all time?
We always go back to the one that, when Shawn Michaels got attacked and Mick Foley won the title. And
yeah,
that's such an amazing, because everybody had a storyline that night. Yeah. Everybody had something to do that was important as well. From Road Dogg and D'Lo Brown, onwards, everybody mattered that entire show. And then the loudest pop ever when Austin came out and dragged Foley's arm after hitting The Rock in the head with a steel chair. And what it meant for
if anybody has anybody had the WWE Network, episode 293 of Raw. It was just a fucking awesome episode.
I tasted Mr. Sacco at rock bottom.
And by the way, Michael Cole was on commentary and he just sounds like shit. But even with him sounding like shit, let's never forget this pop. And this was in Worcester, Massachusetts, about 10 minutes away from me.
Billy got on Shamrock.
And I was there.
DX.
I was just up the back behind the announcers. And I'll tell you what, man, that place was, even the TV, I was like, I heard it later on TV, and I was like, oh my God, we were so much louder than that.
To the corporate team are going at it. Look out. DX and the corporate team are going at it. Look out.
This was the greatest night of Monday Night Raw you've ever seen! Stone Cold!
The rattlesnake is here! Look out! Oh, Stone Cold with a chair!
I mean, dude, get the fuck out of here. That was the greatest night of Monday Night Raw. So many good nights around that time, but top 10, that's in there. They recreated this many times with Stone Cold, similar to Elias. Elias has the moments where he's in the ring, he flicks the guitar, and he makes fun of everybody, and then eventually somebody comes out and beats him up. That's sort of the running gag with him, but he gets a pop. At least a lot of the times he gets a pop. So Elias is able to do that. They recreated this several times with Steve Austin. Another example would be when Undertaker abducted Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah, that's one of my other favorite ones. And he comes out, and if you get the Union to try and save her, and it was like person by person. Ken Shamrock, the Big Show, Mick Foley. No one can help her.
Everyone was trying to help Stephanie. You really felt like she was in trouble. Like, it was crazy. Like, you actually felt. Not only did you actually feel like she was in trouble, but you loved Stone Cold so much. And Steve Austin usually didn't do anything good like that either, so that was like
again, that anti-hero. And he was such an unlikely hero at that point, too, because he hated Vince with such a passion. I think it's JR that even says it. He did what was right. He didn't do it for McMahon. He did it because it was right. And that call was just so captivating. It still stands with me.
And dude, like fucking Midian got the shit kicked out of him with a chair. Like, dude,
fucking
naked dude. Midian lost years on his life from those chair shots to the head. They were unprotected chair shots to the fucking head. I'll never forget, too, because I think Steve Austin came out with a fucking green chair. I don't think I'd ever seen a green chair in my life. Undertaker had like a bat or something.
Yeah, Undertaker had the bat with him, and you've got Paul Bearer speaking in tongues, and they've got the wedding. Do you take this woman to be your unholy bride? And it was so over the top, and he's got her tied up to the the Ministry Undertaker symbol that they had hoisted on Austin up on weeks prior. So it just everything about it and the lead up to it and Stephanie being abducted, the way they handled that storyline, that was such the ultimate culmination. And Vince coming out and she hugs Austin, and it was such an emotional moment when she hugs him. He doesn't hug her back. But she's just holding on to him, thanking him over and over. And then Vince comes out and he shakes Austin's hand. And all of it. It was just so perfect. Storytelling at its best in wrestling.
Well, the other thing about it, too, is I know that guy mentioned the milk truck. I couldn't say the milk truck is the number one because I'd have to go with the original. Steve Austin beer truck is definitely, I feel like.
Go home for WrestleMania 15.
Yes, yeah. I mean, maybe the whole show wasn't as good, but, I mean, that moment.
The show was still really good. I mean, there was a lot of matches at 15 that you were like, they were good for the time, but they don't hold up as well.
Yeah.
But still, the build for some of them were quite impressive. You figure like, DX, certain things are going to reunite, and then they're turning on each other. Like China, I remember Triple H were finally like getting back together around that time, I believe. Like there was a lot to it. So a lot of emotions running high at that point in time too. And that was, but yeah, Kurt Angle with the milk truck is another really good one. That was entertaining as all hell, but Austin's, beer baths just stands out even more so.
I'm kind of over the wrestling trucks and things to the ring. Somebody, Renee and Rodriguez in the chat said, more things to the ring and stuff. I'm over that. The thing is, they've already done it, so that it's not really something that really works anymore. The only way, like, driving something to the ring like Steve Austin would do works now is if it makes 100% sense. Like, you'd have to make full-on sense of what's going on. By the way, WWE.com just released an exclusive video of Titus O'Neil almost pinning R-Truth under the ring. So there once again,
really?
There's once again an under the ring camera, which it seems like they went with that because that was the thing that got like fucking 10 million views on YouTube.
Because it's just so unorthodox, and it is original.
So they did another thing under the ring. Looks like R-Truth, he pinned R-Truth. R-Truth kicked out at 2.5 and then got out of the ring after punching Titus in the head.
That's cool.
Which is fucking great.
Yeah, I told you before, my neighbor's sister was the one that worked for the company that would rent the vehicles to WWE, and they would, source vehicles that could be destroyed and things like that. So, it was crazy to see how much they would spend and the things that they would do to, cement trucks and shit like that, monster trucks, all sorts of, the big vehicles.
Wow.
Yeah, just total madness. But yeah, and like you said, you're kind of over it because it's been done so many times and we've seen so many things. But
do you know what I think would be cool?
There's still some things that they can do that would be exciting.
Do you know what they could have done that would have been really cool?
What's that?
At WrestleMania, remember when they had that whole thing with the women fighting in the back?
Yes.
It would have been cool if Becky Lynch and one of the girls were fighting still, and they were in the police car. And then Becky, Charlotte tried to get away, and she was like, "Oh, you think I'm gonna get away, Charlotte? Charlotte, you're not gonna get away from me that easy, Charlotte." And she fucking handcuffs Charlotte. I almost said Charlotte.
Charlotte.
she handcuffed Charlotte in the police vehicle, in the police car. And what would have been awesome, and the problem is, I don't think the stage is set up for it anymore, and that's the issue. And it would be nice if the stage were set up for something like this, or in a way that this would work. But I don't think the stage is set up this way. But can you imagine if Becky was like, we're going to go for a little ride, and she smashes Charlotte's face off the dashboard, and the whole night was like Becky driving the cop car around and smashing it into stuff, like so that Charlotte's head was smashing into the thing, and like
she's getting wobbled around like a crash test dummy.
She pulls up at a 7-Eleven, and Charlotte's like, "What are you doing? You stole a cop car. You're gonna go to jail, you idiot." Type of thing. And she's like, "Oh, you think I care, Charlotte? I don't give a damn what happens, Charlotte. I don't give a crap." And and she slaps her in the face, type of thing. She goes to a 7-Eleven. She goes, "Are you thirsty, Charlotte? Charlotte, I know you're thirsty." So she opens the door. "You want to get out?" And Charlotte's like, "I have to use the bathroom." She's like, "What kind of, all this other type of stuff." So she's like, "Well, let me help you out of the car, Charlotte. Let me help you out a little bit, and then we'll get the key to the bathroom. I'll let you out of the car." And then Charlotte gets out of the car slightly, and she's still handcuffed. And then fucking Becky just slams the door on her fucking leg, and Charlotte's like, "Ah! Ah!" And she stuffs her back in the car. "Get back in the car, you nasty piece of trash." And she closes the door, goes in, gets a drink, comes out with
dumps it on her.
Yeah, comes out with 2 drinks, rolls down the window. "Here, open your mouth." She starts like opening her mouth. She starts pouring it, and then she just fucking dumps it all over, like, and she gets back in the car, goes, let's keep going, And so she keeps driving around doing all these shenanigans with Charlotte fucking handcuffed to the police car. That's fucking awesome. Then she goes, like, "I think it's time to go back to Illinois," or wherever the fuck the arena is. They go back to the arena. Imagine that police car coming down the ramp, fucking crashing into the ring.
Yeah, all smashed up, and then engine smoking kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Like, fuck up the thing. And it's like,
the
holy
siren
shit, dude.
Broken, but kind of like, halfway waving.
Have the siren
you get those
on.
Broken cop cars, the siren's like,
the siren's on loud, dude. It's fucking pulsating through this fucking stage. She smashes into the fucking ring. She unhandcuffs. She throws a bunch of chairs in the ring. And then fucking unhandcuffs fucking Charlotte, and just fucking puts her in the ring and beats the shit out of her in front of everybody. That type of thing would be fucking hilarious. Now, that would have to be after Charlotte did something horrific to her. So I'm assuming, like, and now I'm not booking the Mania thing, I'm booking afterwards. Like, so
yeah. And they're still facing each other, afterwards, so it works. You could have kept it building.
And Charlotte beats Becky for the belt by cheating, right? So this is the night after. This is the night after Becky loses her title to Charlotte because Charlotte cheats in a horrific way, wins the belt from Becky back. The next night, this should happen. And that police car shit that I just came up with would be fucking awesome. To me, I would fucking think that's awesome.
Oh, that's badass, and that's the way you should do it if you're going to involve, like the kick that they did backstage. That was badass, and everything they had when they had the 3 of them fighting with the police car. It just didn't make sense as to why they were getting arrested, and there were so many arrest angles already and suspensions, and like that was the problem with that, But the actual moment of the head kick in the police car and Ronda eating shit and everybody beating the hell out of each other, like that was fun in the back, but it was just frustrating at that time because they were overbooking the hell out of that entire angle. But like you said, if they stagger things, Charlotte cheats and now Becky's trying to assault her, and they say, if you touch her again, I've already, you lost your title, you have to wait till it's a match, you're going to get arrested and taken out of here by security, and that's when she goes ahead and takes the cop car, Yeah, it's not Dean Ambrose getting arraigned and sent out and coming back in the cop car in the same night. That kind of shit.
I think
that stuff was just so maddening when the Shield would get arrested for no sensible reason, and then the judge let them go.
The judge let them go.
They would show back up in the squad car at 10:55. That kind of stuff.
And by the way, if you want to move Becky and Charlotte away from each other for a little bit, for a brief time, like say like that's the idea, you can hold this whole thing until then, and and Becky Lynch for the next week or two, the storyline can literally be the court case because she stole a police car, she destroyed public property. You know, so they would have to explain, like, you know, Becky Lynch has to not only pay for the property and multiple other fines, and then, of course, someone from the WWE had to pull strings. Maybe it's Triple H, maybe it's whoever the fuck. But she ends up getting in all kinds of trouble for that. And she blames Charlotte, and, you know, Corey Graves on the mic and say, like, you know, well, she did it. The fact is Becky did it. You know, she's going to blame Charlotte. What, because they got in a fight in a police car together, and then she decided to steal a police car. That's her fault. And she's going to blame Charlotte, you know, and you know, the type of thing where, like, Michael Cole has to be, well, it takes, you know, she pushed her to the edge, and it takes two to tango.
Yeah, she made her
Corey
snap.
Graves. But you still can't steal a police car, Cole, and she's going to have to answer for that. And I hope she goes to jail for 5 years. You know, and that type of thing. And now that's a story. And there's so much to do there. Charlotte testifying in court against her, all kinds of things. And I know that seems ridiculous, but it's way more interesting than what the fuck is going on. I mean, usually. So I don't care.
Exactly. You could turn that into gold by having all the heel women, you know, testifying against Becky. And as stupid as it sounds, if you do it right, it could be funny and it could work. You have a fight in a courtroom, you know, the judge, you know,
Yeah.
I see that these women are, you know, and you have somebody, you know, be like the special judge. You could make it such, you know, or excuse me, like a special lawyer, you know, like Mick Foley, the you know, public defender. You know, he could really hammer home some good stuff.
Okay, and don't make it goofy like Vince has done with these. Yeah, they actually
because
they did a
somewhat
courtroom.
serious about it, but it could be funny.
They did a courtroom skit not that like couple years back or 4 years ago or something, and it was awful and it was goofy. But yeah, and then it would be funny.
Oh, with the DX stuff?
Maybe.
They had that little person's court.
Oh yeah, well not like that. It was really goofy. But you know, I would have all these women testifying against her like she's crazy. And the best thing was Becky being on the stand and being like, you know, I'm really sorry, you know. Then everybody's like, oh, yeah. And she's like, because every single one of the women that came up here and spoke ill about me, when I get out of this, I'm gonna slap the damn taste out of their mouth. Like I understand like that type of thing. And you know, Triple H is in the back trying to be like, you can't do this. You know, you have to just go along. You have to apologize. You have to say you're sorry. You know, that type of deal. And that would have been a way to kind of, they wanted to sort of steal from Stone Cold a little bit. That's the stuff that could have made her seem badass. Like, holy shit. And if she was like...
They started to get there too, Joe. They really did. And then they just got in their own way.
And can you imagine Triple H in the ring with her telling her, like, you need to just do what we say going forward. We have lawyers. We've handled things like this in the past. We know how to handle this.
We know what's best for business.
Becky,
we need you to compete.
Becky, I'm almost guaranteeing you that we're going to be able to get you free here, to get you off with minimal damage here. You committed an unbelievable felony. Do you understand that? Like, we're in America.
An atrocity, you know, but she can't trust them.
But the best thing would be with, you know, for Becky to say something like, well, I'm going to deal with it in myself. And, you know, Triple H being like, how are you going to deal with it yourself? And then Becky being like, by punching you in the throat. You know, and then she punches Triple H in the throat and she won't get any help from anybody. And setting up all this stuff. And then Stephanie does get her out of court because she wants to make her life a living hell in WWE now. Like all kinds of stuff. Like, dude, it just rolls and rolls. The ideas roll and it rolls down the hill and snowball. But instead it's all just like, I'm the champ, I'm the man, here's the belt, and that's all they've got.
Becky, 2 belts.
That's all they've got.
I love her. I love your chat, by the way. Some of the comments, you know, like Tiki of Doom said, I'd watch that porn. You know? And then you get
I'd watch any porn.
Yeah. You just get some of the comments that are just so good. But
anyporn.com. There's a plug.
This might be stupid, but whatever. What if at Mania next someone inter for a match via helicopter? I think it'd be cool if done right.
What if Mania next season someone interfered via helicopter? That'd be sick, Broken Line. I mean, they could have done it this year. They had the helicopter, kind of. That'd be kind of cool if there was a landing pad in a way that they could land the... See, they can't probably land anything in the arena, so it would have to happen outside or film it pre or whatever. If they could shoot it the right way to make it seem cool...
Super chat. Super
kind of cool.
Jim Ross screaming Moxley best moments. It's Austin.
Yeah, that was exciting.
That was pretty cool.
Jim Ross didn't know that was going to happen. But
yeah, he didn't know it was going to happen, and the other guy, Excalibur, had to be like, John Moxley, because Jim Ross didn't know.
Super chat.
I almost think Jim couldn't find the name.
I was there tonight. I was no bored at all. I had second thoughts of going, to be honest, but I'm glad I went.
I think you should have.
I still think Drew McIntyre should be on GOT.
Yeah, well, I mean, Game of Thrones is over now, but man, more, thank you. Maybe Vikings now. But no, the show was, I said this was the best Raw of the year. It still wasn't that great, but this was the most they've ever tried to sell a fucking pay-per-view, like, all year. Like,
even more than Mania, I feel like, because Mania's Go Home was just as
we were like
trash and abysmal as the rest. And sorry, I'm still laughing. Daniel Price said Charlotte flashes her penis to someone, they're stunned, and that's how Charlotte wins.
Well, maybe
got to represent the transgender.
Maybe in AEW that will happen. Their fucking weird shit over there.
But no, you're absolutely correct.
Super chat. Super chat.
They sold the
Becky
pay-per-view.
apologized mid-ring. Stone Cold nah. WTF.
Yeah, Woken Peta, thank you, man. Yeah, instead they had awkward shit with Triple H and Stephanie with her. It was like they started and then they backed off. It was weird.
And then they had Vince take her out of the match, and then, you're suspended anyways, and then, we're going to add in Charlotte.
Yeah.
They couldn't. It had that Stone Cold-esque vibe. Like you said, you made a great point with the Bret Hart comparison as well, but, it had that old school feel to it. They were on a good path, just with her being so sick of the corporate machine that was, the blonde ambition. Basically, Charlotte was always getting opportunities. Becky was being pushed back, and she fought back against, the corporation kind of feel, and it worked. And then we had to get to Mania, and they just couldn't hold off.
It was really like what
she never should have faced. After that ladder match, she didn't need to lose in that ladder match. She shouldn't even been involved.
Right.
And there were so many things that just didn't need to happen. And so she loses there, then she wins the Rumble. All right, just have her win the Rumble. You don't need to have her lose to Asuka in the same night. That was bad. There was a lot of things that just could have been avoided to make that much more exciting.
Yeah, tonight was, thank you, Woken Peta. Good to hear from you, Woken Peta, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man Moore and Broken Lion. Thank you guys so much. I'm sorry I didn't take many phone calls. It was, once Dumbass called, I just said, fuck the phones, because you never know when he's going to be calling up. But let's try one more.
There were a few people there tonight. One was trying to call in before, but I don't know if
775.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
What's up,
How's
man?
it going?
Good. So you guys are talking about, like, best Raw moments, right?
Sure.
Back in, like, early 2000, the year 2000, when Kane returns, there's 2 times he returns, but this is specific, it was like a 6-man tag that he returns during.
I know what you're talking about,
Jim Ross sells the fuck out of it, Joe. I'm pretty sure you can find the clip pretty easy. But the pop is crazy. It's a damn good Raw moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
JR goes.
Was it the one where he comes back with Paul Bear?
Yeah, Paul Bear has on a red jacket. The tag match has like Benoit, The Rock, PC, and it's the X-Pac storyline.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah, that shit was beast as fuck.
They actually did a Stone Cold with Kane, and it worked, which is kind of crazy.
Well, it always works for the match.
Stephanie, get over here. We got power on us. We lost power. We've lost power here. We're live.
Dude, and we really thought they lost power for a second. We're like, oh my god, because they had lost power before, and the lights go out like that, and they don't usually say we lost power. So
What the hell is this?
and then I mean immediately you knew they didn't because you saw the thing coming up on the screen and you were like, oh okay, never mind. But like when Jim Ross said we lost power, I said, oh my god, they really did. For like 3 seconds I believed it, and that was it, but only because they went right to the graphic. Had they not gone to the graphic right away and they'd kept the dark look, I would have been like, oh shit, maybe they did.
JR, what did you do?
I didn't do anything, Stephanie, I promise. Who was that? What?
Dude, listen to the crowd. This is fucking Kane. This isn't Stone Cold Steve Austin or The Rock coming out. This is fucking Kane. I mean, Paul Bear got a big pop too, but.
Oh my god, Tori, come here!
Tori, come here! Get down! Kane is back! The big red machine is here!
Like those are the type of things you could do back then. Like just anything fucking worked. It was like, dude, you want to have Kane show up and do something crazy. By the way, the people.
But it was because of the X-Pac storyline where he took Tori and all that shit, and he burned his face.
Yeah,
so it all made sense.
Well, no, the story. Well, that's the great point. Not only did the story make sense, it wasn't just a return. It wasn't just Kane showing up.
It was purpose. There was purpose to it.
But also, dude. Take a look at the people in the fucking ring. It's almost insane. X-Pac, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, Dean Malenko, Benoit. By the way, saw Perry Saturn the other day at FanFest. Damn, he was whacked out looking.
Rough?
Oh man, he was. We showed it on.
Damn, that sucks.
I think we showed it on Corrupted. He's just so bad, man. Looking. I mean, he was all over the place. Poor Bill Apter was interviewing him. And Bill Apter's like, all right, because at the end of Bill Apter interviews, he always points to the camera and says, we'll see you at the matches. And fucking, as soon as he does that, he's looking at the camera with Saturn, and Perry Saturn just fucking like walks away before he was even done with him. And I'll show it to you right now. Everybody watch this. This is fucking hilarious.
This is fucking wrecked.
This is amazingly funny. It's so fucking funny.
Somebody's on there, but it's not. Let's point out, we'll see you at the matches. Yeah.
No, he wasn't kidding, because the whole time he was looking around at other stuff. So this wasn't like a joke he played on Apter. He really took the fuck off. He was like, all right, go.
You can send them to me at After One Wrestling. It is such a thrill to see you. My friend too. Yeah. Perry Saturn, Bill Apter, let's point out, we'll see you at the matches.
Yeah.
Yeah. See you later. Fucking.
That's fucked.
Look at how he's like trying to get away, and Bill Apter pulls him back. Yeah, well,
totally fucked.
Dude, I can't believe I missed this. I was like 3 tables away from this, and I missed it in real time.
Oh.
I would have lost my mind if I saw that in real time.
Hopefully SmackDown's good tomorrow, and hopefully there's no fucking Roman.
Yeah,
you know you guys like the segment. I don't know. I turned it off after Cesaro got pinned.
I mean, like, I didn't. Oh really? Wow. Well, I mean, I didn't love.
Dude, he picked up Strowman like a fucking G, dude.
Yeah, he did.
And I'm like, oh, he's got to win, dude. Samoa Joe versus Cesaro. That's what's up.
What was
the
that?
best ramen that was when Tyson and Austin was nose to nose plus Austin plus Mike Tyson,
That
and
was
all
good.
his money fell out of his pockets, and Austin was beating up the bodyguards while Shane was trying to pick up Tyson money.
Yeah, everybody's scurrying around trying to get all the cash, because he really, had all the cash just flying all over the place. I sent you, Joe, one of my favorite pops.
What was that?
And
Shawn Michaels, yeah.
Yeah, Michaels in that whole thing.
Michaels got him on the ramp earlier with a kick, right?
Oh, on that Raw?
During that Austin
Yeah,
segment?
he kicked him on the ramp. Yep, that was awesome.
So Austin got fucked up twice, man.
I think that was Shawn was wearing a cowboy hat or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I can picture it. That was fucking awesome.
That was a good build up to that fucking whole thing.
You know another good moment on Raw, believe it or not? This is the last like really fun moment to me. One of the last like fun moments was when
the crowd or the chat said something good too.
This was when Triple H and Shawn Michaels reunited for DX, the night that Vince was having every member of the Spirit Squad come out and beat the shit out of Triple H. And then the last guy, I think it was Mitch, he was like, come on out, Mitch, you should enjoy this too, or whatever. And then Mitch goes flying out and crashes into the
you just see him go.
And then Shawn Michaels comes out, and he's just standing there, and then he takes off to the ring. Dude, the pop for that was pretty good, and that was really... Like, I was watching that, I was marking out for that. I was like, oh, fucking here we go. And they'd been building that DX thing since WrestleMania when Shawn told Vince to suck it, and Triple H was telling Cena to suck it, and then everybody was getting all hyped for DX, and then the next month and a half, they realized they were going to put them back together. So that was fun for me, too. Like, that was a moment.
It did take a long time, yeah.
Yeah, that was a real slow burn, but that was what was great about it, because they built up so much anticipation. The one that I sent you, Joe, I sent it on your Facebook, was for the Undertaker's Stalker, when they had Sarah being...
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it didn't get utilized great, but the reveal for that...
He was doing yoga with her first, bro.
Yeah, but they let that go for weeks and weeks, and then, you see his wife, Sarah, getting, undressed by the pool, then she's going ahead and she's being followed to the gym, and, and Undertaker leaves the show early to try and find out who's chasing his wife, and then all of a sudden, the Undertaker's motorcycle gets stolen. Somebody drives it to the ring, and then he pulls off.
Well, when he dragged Hogan on the fucking when that was SmackDown though, when he dragged Hogan on the motorcycle. Taker did.
Yeah.
That shit was badass, man. He beat his old ass. That shit was great.
Good pop for Kane too. I was there for when Kane went ahead and returned to save the American Badass Undertaker from getting his ass beat on SmackDown. You know, but that was
damn. Was his arm all fucked up? Right. That was when the Power Trip fucking feud was, right?
Yeah.
Backlash and shit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, though, DDP kind of was like
they didn't handle him right, but that was a huge ovation. The pop was next level, you know, for DDP, and. You know, you figure of all people getting that kind of reaction.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
Even Sarah fucking beat his ass. They ruined that horribly. They could have had a real, you know, solid win for DDP.
They made DDP look like the cake stalker.
Yeah, they made him into a total bitch.
What's this quick?
DDP's a stalker.
Oh yeah. His face was crazy as fuck, dude.
It's a little lame. I remember thinking back then, even
that's a whole 8-ball to the face and one line face he made taking that mask off.
Yeah, that's
he
true.
He was fucked.
But I remember thinking at the time, my criticism of this at the time was like, I was
Really?
like, so the stalker is trying to do all this stuff, but he's gonna stand in the middle of the ring and then like get all excited that it's me. It's kind of like weird to me. I feel like he wouldn't care. That's not the reason why. But like, you know, I don't know. It was.
See, I like his motivations because he said that the whole reason he went for this angle was that he wanted to come out on top by attacking the biggest dog in the yard. And who was that? The Undertaker. And he found his one weakness, and that was his wife.
You know what?
So he did everything he could to get inside the head of the Undertaker.
I did not
and
remember
then he should have
said
beat
that.
the Undertaker's
That's awesome.
ass, but instead they fucked it up.
I did not know he said that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I forgot.
As soon as he revealed himself, the whole thing went to shit.
Yeah,
because he revealed himself. He had this great promo about, you know, what do? You go for the biggest dog in the yard. He had this great promo afterwards. And then he ended up getting his ass beat by the Undertaker's wife even. Like, everything just fell to shit.
I don't know, Undertaker fucked up Heidenreich, too.
Heidenreich, dude, man.
Well, that was
life fucked up Heidenreich. No, I'm just kidding.
And that felt like so
Michael Cole
personal,
got
like
fucked.
behind the scenes, because every time they were in the ring together, dude, it looked like Taker really wanted to whoop his ass.
Yeah, I think
there was a lot of bad blood from what we...
Because it's like every time you try to put this guy over.
That was Kennedy that he hit the chair with, right? That it was one of those beast ass chair shots.
Oh yeah.
Like when the Hardys attacked Lesnar. Lesnar wanted that too. He was like hit it full force.
Kennedy's a good example of a guy who was totally like had the stuff, was pushed by the company, and then the wrestlers buried him. Like the wrestlers didn't allow Kennedy to go any further because he was going to go further, and the wrestlers buried him. He had a gimmick that was great. He could have been here for a lot longer.
Cena do that too?
I mean,
Cena did that to somebody pretty big.
A few people, but he might. I mean, even Kennedy. I don't think a lot of people liked him for some reason. Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it. I got to move on. I really do. Let me just let the donations play.
We got into a nostalgia trip there talking about the best Raws from the donations. But, you know, that's the point. That's what a good Raw does. It makes you think of the good times. We're not sitting here complaining, trashing everything. You know, it brought up good memories, and we're like, oh, well, this kind of has a parallel of this. And when you have a decent night, you know, that's what you get. You get something that's worth talking about, that's worth exploring. I mean, we haven't even covered essentially all of Raw yet, but I like Bray Wyatt's Funhouse tonight, the Firefly Funhouse. I thought was really good.
One of his best, dude. And they already shot these, right? So by coincidence, Jake, that was one of the best ones he's done, and it came on a night where everything was hitting on some kind of level of
a next level altogether. You know, the 6-man tag was good, although albeit predictable. The action was still, you know, good in ring, and them having, you know, the best of, you know, 3 falls match. I think that was good. The only problem I have with that is that they made Baron Corbin look a little bit weak, and he's going into, you know, the match coming up. But they tried to get him his heat back at the end of the night, granted, but still, I would have had him be a little bit more dominant. I didn't mind Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross in the back. I know you weren't thrilled with it, but I enjoyed the fact that they're really trying to hammer home. I mean, it's a storyline we've seen before, and we know this, so at least they're trying to, you know, stay the course with it and really explore every bit that they can with it. I mean, if they're going to do it, at least do it right, and I feel like they've you know, kind of fleshed out this angle decently.
Yeah, I mean,
Nikki Cross is blindsided by Alexa's kindness per se, and the fact that, oh look, I got you your first title match, and then lo and behold, Bayley, who is a face, looks like an asshole because she cost, she helps the heels win and retain their titles, and now it kind of fits with everything Alexa's been saying. Oh, Bayley's a monster, Bayley's a bully, Bayley's so bad, and now Nikki Cross sees this and she says, I'm going to help you. I'm going to make sure Sunday that you're the women's champion. I'm going to be in your corner. It fits. So at least, you can't complain in the sense that, oh, they took a story, they followed through with it, and they made it whole. I appreciate that. Paul Heyman, we said that was a bit of that copy and paste routine from Heyman. Didn't need to happen. And again, we hear the same old, they both traded away their balls. I thought that was bullshit. I didn't even laugh just because I was so frustrated with Heyman. It's the same thing that we always hear from him. I know he's gold on the mic, but been there, done that with him.
Well, luckily it was short. It was like,
yeah, it was quicker than usual. So at least if it was anything that was not great tonight was over quickly. Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, they lost quickly, and they lost pretty much by a win because they went ahead and they hit, they set up for the Magic Killer. And you're like, all right, here it goes, and then they lose to the double super kick, and you're like, oh damn! But at least they didn't just have them win, and oh look at that, you guys got your magic back, you guys are whole again. No, they're going to have to make a comeback story out of this. So hopefully that's where they're going with that with AJ. They want AJ to be the motivator for these two, and they're trying to build them up for the Japan match. I don't know what they were going for by promoting the U.S. women's soccer team with Hulk Hogan. That was odd,
dude.
I know it's some type of hashtag for like watch women's.
Oh no,
something,
it's because Fox.
Is it just strictly a Fox Sports thing?
Well, dude, put it this way: number one, they were able to put Hulk Hogan on their TV screen. They were pulling out all the stops tonight.
Yeah, they really were trying.
They put Hogan on the screen. Number two, Fox Sports won. Fox probably asked them, plug this.
That makes sense because the reason why I wasn't sure is because Stephanie McMahon on Twitter and a few other places has been promoting. I'm trying to find the hashtag. Oh, She Is Challenge, and she's been going on and on about the She Is Challenge, and she is sports, she is winning, she is epic, all that kind of stuff. And it's basically a campaign to make you want to watch women's sports and to support women's sports entertainment and things like that. So
I wouldn't put it past WWE that they bought that because he sells those promos for $400 on his website. He was standing in the spot. He was standing in the spot with the belts behind him,
the titles
and he always ends it with a "Go do it, brother," and then he punches the camera and they cut it. He did that exact promo. I don't know. I wouldn't put it past WWE to actually pay for it.
You were not wrong. That is really something to think about. Damn. And then after that, we had Roman. We covered that before with Reigns really getting it on, and beating the shit out of Shane a little bit. And I only wish that he assaulted Shane more, but it was good. It was a good segment. We got that scathing promo from McIntyre, who already looked like a real bastard, beating up Heath Slater earlier and taking advantage of that situation. And Roman getting that mic drop moment and going to the back. He beats up the Revival and takes on, I thought it worked. It looks good. You got a brief Roman chant from the crowd, who was pretty dead for most of the night, in terms of chants. So that was good to get some reaction from them. And what else do we have? Yeah, like you said, I really enjoyed the Firefly Funhouse. This was one of the best ones, and Wyatt, saying that, he really was, in that trolley type attitude. You don't want to have worms in your garden, and people always lie to you. Your parents told you that the Earth is round, and history teachers said that their dinosaurs are extinct, and follow the leader and let me in. I'm really curious to see where they go with it.
He said, "Follow the leader." That was awesome. Like, I thought that was great. I was like, oh, they're going with that as his new thing. Like, that sounds kind of cool. Again, Kevin Owens yelling at the graphic guy. Good job, Bobby. That was funny. The New Day, even Kofi Kingston's demeanor coming down the ring, when he was like, I'm going to do whatever I want type of deal. He still isn't the best on the mic. I still don't believe him 100%. Kind of weak still, but that was his most convincing sound out of him. I mean, seriously.
I could see that. Yeah, no, I will concede that fact. And some people seem to think that, Wyatt might be the special referee on Sunday. That would be interesting, but I think it's going to be Shane.
It's a letdown for his character, though.
Yeah, it doesn't quite fit. So
he might show up, but not be the referee.
I think they're going to have him show up soon. I don't know if he'll be there Sunday, but maybe the next Raw they'll have him show up. It's going to be any time now, though. And then we had the main event, which, again, I don't quite know, as you said, that I don't know why the Revival ran out, but it makes sense that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn ran out because of the altercation they had before with the 6-man tag. So, and then you had the Usos come out and help the babyfaces, but the Usos and the Revival have bad blood, so that kind of, I guess, works in that sense. And then, Rollins goes to the stage to celebrate, and that's when Baron Corbin comes and gets his heat back by hitting him with the end of days and beating him with the chair, and he hit him quite hard a few times. So
I mean, we pretty much know that Seth Rollins is winning probably on the pay-per-view. So
yeah, I mean, that seems like that's what's going to happen, and pretty straightforward. I mean, I think it'll be a fairly predictable show. We'll go over that Wednesday with Connor for Out of Nowhere, but some people were upset on Twitter with the bait and switch. This last week or the week before it was, Brock Lesnar's cashing in. He's definitely cashing in, and that never happened. And this week, they said we're going to announce the special guest referee. Don't you worry, we're going to announce who the special guest referee is, and that didn't happen. So I can understand that's a valid criticism. Some people are tired of them saying one thing and doing the other. The bait and switch is a tactic that they often, pull out just to garner some views. But I think that tends to bite them in the ass too. So had it not been as good of a show as it was received, and they, stayed with the bait and switch, I think more people would be validly frustrated. So
yeah.
But all in all, the wrestling alone, you want to give the night a 4. And, just the fact that they had solid matches for the most part. I really enjoyed, Seth Rollins and Daniel Bryan, obviously. The 5-man elimination match was good. The 6-man tag was also well done. So even the women's tag team match was okay. So all in all, not a bad night for wrestling. And I think with everything else we were given, I'd give tonight a 5.5. Maybe you could argue for a 6, but I'm going to go 5.5.
Yeah, I'm going 5.5 as well for tonight's show, and yeah, that's about it. It was this was the best Raw of the worst. This was the best of the worst.
Yeah,
and
really. I mean, they built towards Sunday. They added matches for Sunday that make sense. Now we got Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn taking on 2/3 of the New Day. We now have Ricochet taking on, Samoa Joe. We still got to see what's going on with Finn Balor and his IC title. And interesting enough, we have matches advertised for WWE Clash of Champions. So we have Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans and Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler. And that's August 15th. So that's what it says here, August 15th. So that's going to be before, I believe, SummerSlam.
Right.
And if that's the case, I hope that's not the advertised matches. That's what's up on the, posted up on the website at this point, because that means we have to stay with these feuds for the rest of the summer, and that would be a huge disappointment. I don't want to see any of those continue on, but hopefully that's not the case.
I'm just trying to correct something on my Nightbot to try to combat the spam things.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes it's...
Well, I mean, there's some kind of hack that's happened to YouTube. This is happening to all streamers, apparently.
I saw it, yeah.
I did not know that, but yeah, it's happening to all streamers. But I got another way to combat it.
Oh, excuse me, September 15th, not August. I read that wrong. Yeah, so that's, that's after SummerSlam. And, they said right now at the Arena website, the matches advertised as Kofi and Dolph, and then Becky and Lacey. So that would be really disappointing if we have to go all the way through SummerSlam with these same feuds just to see that happen again.
Oh, yeah, dude. That would be... Please, no.
Tickets go on sale this Friday, the 21st, and they start at $20. So
all hands were on deck tonight for Raw. I mean, they did the best they could with these already built storylines, with the current roster they have, and with the structure that they do things. And this proved tonight how a PG show can be somewhat okay. Because they went from a 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 10 to I believe personally that this was a 5.5 out of 10, that this was a middle of the road, acceptable sort of show, compared to what normally is a piss poor piece of shit garbage. And for that point, it shows you how you can do that in on the PG world. So that it's entirely possible they could have done an even better job tonight and hit a 7 out of 10 in the PG world, and that would be amazing if they could have done that. I don't think they quite did, but you know, it is whatever. Let me see if there's any donations to clean up. I don't. Give it a hell yeah! Yeah, there is.
Joe Jake, what was one return you felt was ruined because of commentary? For me, it was Brock's 2012 return. Fuck you, Michael Cole.
I mean, Broken Line, I can't specifically remember that 100%. I'm sure there's been a couple underwhelming ones, and I'm sure...
More recent, I'd say Dean Ambrose's return. That was handled badly when he came back from injury. Commentary made him sound ridiculous, and Seth gave it away beforehand, so...
Hey guys, I was there for it, but the Royal Rumble where Cena came back had one of the biggest pops I have ever heard as well. Even though I hate Cena, I have to give it to him.
Yeah, that wasn't a Raw, but Glorious New York City, thank you, Glorious. Yeah, I hated that. I actually hated that because I hated Cena so much at that time, and we heard he was going to be out for like 8 months or 6 months or something or other, and I think this was like 2 or 4 months later or something. And it was like, what? I definitely knew he wasn't in the Rumble. Like, I knew. I'm like, well, Cena is not in the Rumble because he is hurt, so he won't be here. And then to see him come out, dude, I was enraged. I was no, I'm not. Ask anybody that was living with me.
Yeah,
I was flipping shit over in my house.
Is it gay if I want to lick the sweat off of Kenny Omega's 6-star balls? How about if I want to chew the smegman off his 6-star cock? No homo.
Hey, well, bro. That's the job. It's all about the bro jobs.
Ketracel White. Ketracel, thank you for all your support, man, that you've given over the years, and recently especially. I don't know about over the years, but recently I know you've given a lot. Vince Russo, you're the type of guy Vince Russo would hate. Bro, I don't know what this is, bro. In wrestling now, with guys getting a boner over this guy and that guy. What is that, bro? That's weird, bro.
The Undertaker returns after Judgment Day 2000 on Raw. The crowd was insane.
Yeah, that must have been nutty, too. I mean, dude, anything 98, 99, 2000, 2001 was off the fucking page. And many of Jericho's returns and things like that. ADTR. Thank you, ADTR.
You know, some of the polls online, 25% of the people enjoyed Raw, 13% said no, and 19% said they somewhat enjoyed. 43% said they didn't watch. You know, so there's still a lot of people not tuning back in. So I wonder what the ratings are going to be. Solid show tonight. We'll see what happens. You know, it's unfortunate that, hey, look, you really missed a good show, but maybe this will help next week, and they kind of keep this momentum going forward, because unfortunately they've done so much damage recently by not having, you know, decent show after decent show. It's just been quite the clusterfuck. That what was the reason to tune in tonight? What did we have to look forward to? Nothing. So I can't blame anyone for missing a good show, but sadly, if you didn't watch, you missed out on a lot of decent moments and things that were actually entertaining. So hopefully this will create a little bit of buzz and people will tune into SmackDown tomorrow night, and hopefully SmackDown goes ahead and kind of, you know, keeps the momentum going forward. There's also a little bit of news here. Dave Meltzer reported last Friday that Lars Sullivan was dealing with a knee injury that was worse than originally believed. Meltzer said today that WWE planned for Sullivan to return to action this week, but now he won't appear on Raw or SmackDown, and he could be out much longer than initially anticipated. So the last time we saw him, obviously, was last week for the 1-on-3 tag team elimination match against Lucha House Party. That was his second match in the main roster. And you figure with all the delays and setbacks that he's had, you know, with his anxiety issues, and then, you know, everything after he came up to the main roster, and just waiting for him to actually debut, and all of the, you know, will he, won't he, what's going to happen things, for this to happen now, talk about just worst case scenario and piss poor timing. I do genuinely feel sorry for him in that sense, because if he has to disappear again for quite some time and then has to, re-debut essentially and come back and try and recover again, I bet you they will have no confidence in using him. I think he was already on thin ice at this point. So for them to go ahead and now, all right, they're going to look at him as injury prone. He's already caused quite a ruckus in the back. He's been fined. He's had, all these posts come out that he said on the forums from, a decade ago. And it's just a real unfortunate scenario. So hopefully it's a not a major injury, and he's only out for 3 weeks at the most, if that's possible, and then he's able to come back and kind of fix himself, and hopefully he gets into some actual decent feuds. We'll see what happens here. I'm not really sure who he could feud with at this point in time, but depending on what happens with the U.S. title, maybe we can have him go and face someone like a Ricochet or something, a smaller guy that's able to move quickly and he's got all the power, but we'll see what happens. Even that might not be, the best of ideas, but I do tend to think that, I hope I'm wrong, but I do think that Shane McMahon is going to be the special guest referee for Sunday's, main event. I hope that's not the case, but I don't know who else we can have at this point in time that would work. So it's looking like that's what's going to happen. And Cal Alabama just sent me another picture of, you can see tickets here. Yeah, standard ticket for up close to the front row. So row B is $77 for Sunday. And if you want the 2-for-1 special, it's $39.50 each, so $40, and you get two. If you want the front row, you can get front row for $252, 2-for-1 special. That's absolutely insane. They have rows A, B, and C for $502 plus fees. But then they also have the same tickets, same seats, 2-for-1 special offer. It's $252, half the price, and you get two tickets. Why would anyone pay double the price for one ticket when you get two for half the price? That's baffling. But still, at Money in the Bank, the tickets were going upwards of $1,500 originally, are through the not originally, not Ticketmaster, but the scalping sites, $1,200, $1,500 for front row, especially on the the camera side, so you could be seen on TV, where the usual green shirt guy and people like that sit. So Ticketmaster had them listed at $700 to $750 for those seats, on the day of ticket sales. That's just absolutely insane that they would go ahead and have them listed for $250, buy one, get one free. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Disappointing, but hopefully they end up having a better turnout. Another thing I was going to bring up, too, was Scarlett Bordeaux. She was apparently groped by a fan at a AAA show over the weekend. And, this all went down at AAA Conquista at Total Gear 2019 event in Cancun, Mexico. So she went ahead and she took to Twitter. We got to see the video posted on Lucha Blog. She's on the outside of the ring, and it's in the middle of the match. She does a dive to the outside, and the fan goes ahead, and they said he gropes her, but when I rewatched the video, he goes ahead and he wraps his arms around the front of her and kind of just pulls her backwards. I didn't see him grab at her, but still, you shouldn't be touching any of the talent like that. And she immediately lashed out on Twitter, rightfully so. She said, "It's never okay to touch a performer without their consent. I didn't realize what happened until I watched the footage afterwards, being so in the moment after a dive with my back turned. Otherwise, I would have reacted much differently." And, she thanked the wrestlers for having her back. But, you should never be grabbing the wrestlers. And I was kind of puzzled by some of the wording by saying that, she was groped. When I rewatched the footage here, it doesn't look like she was groped. It just looks like he kind of loosely bear hugged her. He reached around and grabbed towards her stomach, but even still, you shouldn't be touching the wrestlers. But the main thing that I wanted to bring up with this is that some of the people went ahead and said, that you went ahead and you dressed this way, so it's your fault. And I in this day and age, I guess there's always assholes, but I was kind of not necessarily shocked, but surprised to see someone say that, oh, your body is yours, but you showed it to the whole world like it means nothing. It's your fault. You got groped. And it's just a disgusting thing to say that's not, needed at all. I'm not trying to sound like a white knight here, but it's an act, and it's part of the show. granted, they should expect some form of personal safety. And she went ahead and she immediately responded. She said, "Sounds to me like you don't respect women unless they fit your standard of what they should be." And she said, "If someone finds me the way I'm dressed attractive, it doesn't give them the right to do whatever they want to me." And that's just it. So, I mean, no one has the right to touch anybody. But I was kind of curious with the groped wording. I didn't see it personally in that sense, but still interesting nonetheless. Yeah, granted, I am happy with what we got for Raw tonight. I'm curious to see. I haven't heard anything about SmackDown. I did see a bit of an update that Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch kind of met up with each other at the top of the ramp after Raw went off the air, and Becky had a match afterwards. So that's, again, we go ahead and we see them together kind of talking to each other. And, Joe and I were just covering that before. I've been looking to see if I had an update on Dana Brooke. The only thing I saw was that Becky Lynch fought after the show went off the air. But, we will see if we get some kind of update tomorrow about her. It is unfortunate that she busted her head open so badly. I hope she's okay. We'll see what happens with her, though. Mistakes and accidents do happen. I'm surprised they stopped the match and they didn't just have her get pinned quickly. But I guess because it was a main event and not a live television, that they just felt necessary to stop it in such a way. So, they also said a former WWE Championship was backstage tonight at Raw. I'm trying to see if there's any other news going forward here. Let's see. They said there was a lot of interesting action in the ring, but there were also some surprise guests backstage at the show, including none other than the Doctor of Thugonomics, John Cena. So I wonder if they were filming something or if he was just there visiting. So Bray Wyatt was backstage tonight as well. And I guess he got a bunch of good feedback and responses from people in the back tonight for his Firefly Funhouse segment. So, I mean, we have no official announcement when we'll see him return to the ring, but I genuinely feel like we'll see him at the next Raw. I don't think we're going to see him yet at the pay-per-view. I don't think he would fit into that special guest referee spot, and I don't think there's any other spot that he would get into, but I'm curious. I'm genuinely excited to see him return. I can't wait to see him wrestle again and get back into the thick of it, but I want to know what they're going to do with his character. Is he going to be, this happy-go-lucky guy like we've seen, and then he just turns into the Fiend, or is he going to do his promos as the nice Bray character and wrestle as the Fiend? So we kind of have like a dichotomy between the two personalities. Or is it only one that we'll get, and the Fiend will be like a special attraction, like Finn Balor's Demon? And I'm curious about his theme music. I think we heard a bit of it tonight. I think some of that we heard at the end of the promo is going to be what's used for his new theme song. But I wonder, are we just going to see him do little segments and kind of interfere in some matches or mess with people backstage? Or is he going to get right into a feud with somebody? And if so, who is he going to be feuding with? I mean, that alone is really something that piques my interest. Where does he fit in at this point in time? It's interesting. So I don't know who he could feud with right off the bat that would be served better. But does he go right for the top? Does he go for the championship? Universal Championship? Does he start messing with Seth, or is he going to come back as a face and start messing with some of the heels? I mean, there's a lot of possibilities and options here that I'm curious to see which way it goes.
The amount of questions that you just laid out almost made my head explode because there are so many questions.
That's what I love about it so much.
I know.
There's so many open-ended possibilities with him. Is he good? Is he bad? Is he going to be wrestling, each week, or are we only going to have segments with him in person backstage? Is he going to come out and talk? Is the Fiend going to be like the Finn Balor type thing where we only see the Demon every once in a while? That's what I love about this. There's so much to speculate on. Aleister Black is already having an open challenge, essentially looking for competition. So
is he going by like this, the Fiend?
Yeah, that's going to be the nickname to his masked character, is the Fiend.
Whoa! Did somebody say this before already?
He had said it himself.
Wow!
So Bray said it in one of the Firefly Funhouse segments. He said, "That's the Fiend. That's my friend."
It comes and it takes me there. It took everything inside the all to
could come out to Cold Chamber. That album killed them. But anyway, that being said,
are we going to see the puppets live? That'd be cool.
Imagine him coming down with the fucking puppets in a backpack or something.
And imagine, it sounds stupid almost to me, but picture him being in the ring, and then you see, someone manning the puppets like over the barricade. Pee-wee's Playhouse style. So like the puppets are behind, you don't see anybody, obviously controlling them, but Sesame Street or, like that kind of thing.
I pictured
so the puppets are going in the background while he's having his match.
I pictured like them hanging from wires from the top of the ring, like stationary.
Oh, that'd be nuts.
Or as Bray Wyatt's walking back to the locker room, the Titantron, they're all up on the Titantron looking at him. Or something like that. I don't know, but that's all dumb. I don't really want that to happen. I'm just I'm joking around. But yeah, I'm joking, but whatever.
Could you picture him wrestling and then he looks over and there's all the puppets at the barricade? Come on.
Yeah, that's some funny shit.
Yeah, Ryan said, seen as a hypocrite, he has become what he hates. And it's kind of right. He did kind of shit all over The Rock for what he did to WWE and things like that. And I know they don't directly line up, but they are pretty damn close. So
yeah, and he even uses The Rock's help now to get all the fucking parts.
Yeah, to get into the Fast and Furious. And Vin Diesel and The Rock obviously had that huge falling out. And it's funny how Vin Diesel, I guess, set it up with the producers saying, well, I won't be in this movie anymore because of Vin Diesel, so I'll give you someone that can, still be a big name but replace me. And that was his plan, to have Cena come in. So,
wait, what? The Rock won't be in it?
The Rock's not going to be in Fast 9. No.
Why?
Because him and Vin Diesel had a huge falling out, and they refused to work together. They were fighting viciously in the back against each other. There was a lot of bitching and name calling. That's real?
So
yeah, that was legit. They really hated each other.
So that means Vin Diesel was like jealous because like The Rock is coming into my franchise type of thing.
Yes, and The Rock was getting a shit ton of money, and then The Rock got his own spin-off with the Shaw and Hobbs movie there with Jason Statham. So Vin Diesel got really upset about that as well.
You know what? I want to take this time, and I don't know. The Rock could be the wrong guy in this. I don't know. I don't know anything. I hate Vin Diesel. Like I legitimately can't stand Vin Diesel with his stupid, let me tell you, this fucking, he sucks. Vin Diesel, if you're watching, which you're not, you suck. You fucking tan, golden looking, boring, big nosed, deep voiced, unfucking enthusiastic, boring, monotone piece of shit, overpaid actor, overrated, over everything. You named yourself Diesel, so you think you're cool. His movies suck dick. His movies suck cock. I think you suck.
I've never
Diesel.
been a fan of his, but I don't have that kind of outright hate like you do. But I can certainly
I can't stand that.
I mean, he's not and his social media stuff is bizarre. He has some of the weirdest live streams, and
well, I'm down with that. I mean, that's fun.
No, he makes some people like so uncomfortable because he's live streaming like random stuff on Facebook, and he just walks over to people, and it's just really bizarre. Like you can see, like he's kind of like just not welcomed on some of the set things, and people, are just so visibly uncomfortable.
That's more interesting than the movies, I think.
Yeah, no doubt. And somebody just said it too. I think it was Treehouse Party. They said that don't forget that Tyrese and The Rock are also mad at each other too. So
we will never forget Tyrese is mad at The Rock. Oh, Marcella! Oh, Marcella! Let's never forget the. By the way, this is a good time to put it over, guys. Everybody out there, if you like this channel. We do a bunch of non-wrestling talk like this all the time over my Patreon. But not only that, over 100 episodes now of the Corrupted Podcast. It is said to be the best show that I do on any channel and on any Patreon and whatever else. Corrupted Podcast. Here's a clip. As you remember, Tyrese was crying that he needed money and all kinds of other stuff. We got to play this piece because it's too funny.
Oh, my. Whoa, God, go easy, guys.
Here's The Rock and Tyrese.
Showing off out there in Dubai, man. And you know what's crazy? when I sent you your car.
So then he starts showing off all his like $100,000 cars or whatever he's got. Wow.
Saying he's got no money.
Here comes.
What am I gonna do now?
This is great.
Holy shit, I just fucked my holy shit. Oh my god. Oh my god.
We took Tyrese crying in his video about his daughter and his wife, which is actually horrible to do. But he was crying. He was like, I don't have any money. Don't anybody in Hollywood help me? And my Shayla. And he was freaking out. And it was terrible.
What more do you want from me?
What more do you want from me? And so we took those clips and we had him get in a car accident.
Oh my god.
Paul Walker style.
That is amazing.
I bet you if you played like a hammer, even if you played like a hammer.
Ain't nobody showing up for me. I got all these millionaire friends.
Oh my god. Hey, you know what you should do? Have the car crash, then have him go, oh, and then have big piece of black dog shit. Oh, fucking have the Rock follow up him. Where nobody's helping me.
This is it.
Black Rose, I just heard it. I literally just.
All right, here we go. Here it is.
As soon as I start hearing the tires.
Oh my god. Oh my god. My Shayla.
Oh no.
Ain't nobody showing up for me. I got.
Dude, that was terrible. He says, oh my Shayla.
Oh my god, man. Oh, but hey, look, everybody! Tyrese crashed into that car over there, but he's still alive. This is crazy. This is a miracle.
He's limping out of the car. He's just limping out of the car. Listen to him.
Thank God he made it. Oh my God! Someone's shooting Tyrese! Someone's shooting him now! Oh my God! What are they doing? Is he okay?
God, you can hear him.
Oh my god.
So yeah, you should become a patron. Patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. There's so much more than that. We did a 2.5-hour show the other day on Patreon, plus 2 hours of pre and post show. It's fucking nuts. It supports the show. It keeps my show running. It keeps this possible. But on top of that, you get 30 hours of bonus content a month that you don't get at all on YouTube. So it's not just that you're giving $5 or $10 a month or $2 a month, whatever. It's not you're just giving that to me on Patreon. You're actually getting a bunch of shit. Like, it's like my own Netflix. It's tons of my shows and different shit. Me and Leah's show is going to be up this week, our new podcast, or our next episode of our podcast, me and Leah, Till Death Do Us podcast. Me and Tommy sat down for, for Honestly podcast, and I do a morning show on there where I just talk about my own shit on a podcast. And coming soon, of course, is Meant to Offend. Me and Jake do a podcast every other week or a couple weeks or so on there. Dave Rose and me. A lot of stuff to talk about conspiracy-wise and science-wise. All kinds of shit. It's all on the Patreon. It's all, I believe, worth it. Check it out.
Super chat.
There's the plug.
Party.
Ken Brownstone. Mr. Ken Brownstone. Thank you very much, Ken Brownstone. Although, why are some things not showing up on the list tonight? It's weird.
I noticed that earlier. That's why I wasn't sure.
Yeah. I don't see Ken. Oh, there he is. Are we way behind? Oh, we were behind a few. Oh, my bad, guys. All right, I'm going to play the donations. I'm sorry. I didn't realize we had a couple to go here. Ken, thanks for the $1, man. Thanks for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. I have a pencil in my ear because I'm smart. This is what makes me look smarter because I'm an idiot. So I put a pencil in my ear. I'm like the cheap librarian, like the ghetto librarian.
Chris Rhodes, the best part of Raw for sure, hands down, was for me the Drew McIntyre segment that he had with Heath. Heath comes into Shane's party to ask for a raise, saying he needs money for his kids. Shane, throws him out, tells him to get out of there, and Drew follows, and it's pure gold.
Here we go. Oh, no.
What up, CJ Crumb?
Favorite Raw moment was Brock Lesnar returned in 2012 and attacked John Cena. One of the loudest crowd reactions I have heard in years.
Yeah, that was one of the loudest crowd reactions in the last... Since then, I guess, yeah. But that was good, too. That was the one where he kicked his hat away, right? And said he pissed down his leg. Was that then?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, is that... I thought it was like 13 or 14, but...
Yeah, because, that Cena had lost against The Rock, and then he's just standing there, and then Lesnar's music hits, and he comes out and just beats the shit out of, huge F5.
Super Jet.
When Cena returned in 08 at RR, the crowd was loud.
Yeah.
In person, it was the night before Triple H returned on Raw. We went to, I know it was Massachusetts, I think it was Springfield, and I got to see a house show with Triple H to warm up before he came back.
Bray Shout come out to Rowboat from Coal Chamber.
Yeah, could do Rowboat. Go. That's funny. No, Rowboat, he said it.
Oh, Rowboat?
Yeah, I mean, he could come out to...
Get out of my Rowboat.
I don't know why, but all the Coal Chamber songs would work for Bray Wyatt. I don't know why.
Yeah, well, it's just got that eerie melody behind it, that deep, depraved metal.
But yet goofy, like a little bit. Coal Chamber's a little bit playful. They've got the colorful, cartoony aspect, too. So it's like, that really seems to keep coming to mind. Because my
friend's local band used to cover Rowboat, and it was a huge...
I used to cover Loco, but it just fits because I came up with it, and I didn't even know you donated that, so then you thought of it. So that means we're all thinking alike on...
Yeah, it's just a easy go-to.
No, it just makes sense, man. goddamn, it fits him.
But that ovation that Triple H got was deafening. That place was unreal that night, and there were big names there all night. But Triple H, it wasn't known that he was going to be wrestling, and when his music ever hit and he came out, oh my God, it was because he left as a heel. He wasn't this revered babyface, but the ovation, like I said, was next. That was the loudest reaction I've ever heard for wrestling, and it wasn't even televised. It was absolutely unreal. I couldn't believe how this place just erupted for him.
For Triple H, yeah, because that was a huge comeback type of deal.
Because he was gone for so long at that point. It was almost a year that he was out. It was like 9 months, I believe. And,
was that a quad? That was a quad?
Yeah, that's when he tore his leg up. And, he finished the match and everything. That was unbelievable.
That was horrific, yeah. I don't know how
that was awful. But, yeah, that was the loudest I've seen for non-televised. And recently, when Drew McIntyre... not Drew,
Triple H return on Raw from first knee injury was massive pop. Had good rant. Could you find that?
Oh, yeah, I can...
That's what we're talking about. Go figure. Yeah, Triple H got this huge ovation that night on Raw. I still remember it, too. He's got the jean jacket on and the Triple H logo, and he just looked like such a badass. He was really owned up to it.
Dude, it's amazing because when the music hits, it's loud. The music hits, it's louder than anything nowadays. Then he steps out onto the stage, and then it gets even louder. And then he, after he steps out of the shadow and the lights come on and he blows the water everywhere, then it goes to another level.
And then when he finally does the water spit in the ring, then the place just... I don't think there's any voices left.
Let me go back to that now. So let's skip to that because that's interesting. So this is just this is some loud shit.
It's extremely loud. When he finally does the spit, it's like, oh my God.
And folks, business has picked up. WM, but you can venture your bottom dollar that every moment of hell that he went through, the
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I remember that.
Have you ever heard a sound like this? Have you ever heard an arena make this much noise? By God, the roof might come off this building! Like, it's unbelievable right here.
I get goosebumps just
wow
thinking back to it. And I'm telling you, Adam Cole, when he won, recently against Gargano, I couldn't believe the reaction that he got. I mean, I knew he was going to get cheered, Adam Cole, baby, and boom, and for the Undisputed Era, but it was like 90-10 at that point for Gargano. It was against him, I should say. I figured because he was the ultimate babyface of the night. They booed the shit out of Johnny Wrestling. I was so surprised. I mean, Connecticut kind of goes a little bit heelish at times, but they were just straight up heel crowd. They wanted Cole to win, and when he finally got that pinfall, because you weren't sure that was definitely the finish because they've kicked out of so much, and when that happened, the place was just in a total uproar. It was deafening.
Yeah, that was a loud NXT show. I mean, it must have been really loud.
They were loud from start to finish. There was not a quiet moment, and they were really well behaved.
You can't
too.
forget when The Rock came back in 11.
When they announced the host of WrestleMania, they shut off the lights section by section. They said the host of WrestleMania 27, and they shut down each section one by one. It's like, and they have the lightning came through. And,
that was pretty cool.
And then all of a sudden, if you smell, and the crowd, I went nuts. I was jumping up and down at home.
Listen, some of these people are being electrocuted.
Yeah.
Party.
Dickie Nas.
I hope that pencil falls off your hat, bounces off the table, and goes right inside your eye. You're sorry, Sob Joe. That's the bottom line.
Dickie Nas, man. You know what I'm going to do with this pencil? I'm going to stick this pencil in your mother's pussy, and then I'm going to take it to a lab, and then I'm going to print the results of the fact that she has hepatitis, HIV, and mongoloid disease in her pussy, and I'm going to share it on the internet with everybody, and I'm going to embarrass you, Dickie Nas. Thank you, though, Dickie Nos, for the $5. It ain't going nowhere. God, that WrestleMania was horrible.
Such shit, but this was so epic.
Not for CM Punk. This was around the time, too, where things were bad, and it was like, thank God The Rock's here. But even this isn't as loud as those other things.
Yeah, I know.
To be honest. I mean, this is pretty loud, though. And honestly, every time The Rock comes out, or came out around from this time to the next 4 years, when The Rock would come out, he would always get this pretty big pop, you know?
Yeah, he would get that huge ovation, but this was massive. This was unparalleled.
But even that wasn't this was massive for now, but even this didn't even still touch that other shit.
Oh no, it's dwarfed by comparison to old, the Attitude Era and things before, but I mean, everything 2010 onward, that's incredible to receive that ovation.
I'm gonna kill the kids for friggin' leaving the back door open and there's a fly in the house and it's driving me nuts because it's in my office.
I hate that.
What, Dave Rose?
Well, thank you, Yankee Doodle's little balls.
All right. Well, we have to go to bed sometime, so we got to get out of here. But this is what can happen when you get a 5 out of 10 Raw.
Yeah.
You can actually
if it was
talk
a 9
about
out of 10.
it. Yeah.
We'd be up all night.
Oh, right, exactly. But 5 out of 10 works because you can throw all the negatives into one thing and talk about it. You can throw all the positives and talk about them. There was clearly a change tonight. I don't care who you are. There was clearly a change tonight. and it was because they were freaking out over the ticket sales. I wonder what tomorrow night's going to be. I wonder if tonight they blew their load, or I wonder if tomorrow all hands are once again on deck. Probably going to see a lot of Raw guys over there too. I don't know. We're going to find out. Can they put on a good SmackDown now? And I'm assuming the ratings for SmackDown are going to go up because they were so bad last week, and because Raw was different tonight, I would think that the ratings for SmackDown may climb slightly, just a little bit. I don't think you're going to see a drop now because of this Raw. This Raw might still be kind of low, but not because the Raw wasn't better. It's going to be because last week was so bad, nobody even watched tonight. So
yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying, too, because, people didn't have much of a reason to tune in tonight, so I feel like the ratings aren't going to be as deserving as they should be, but hopefully this, leads to an increase next week simply by word of mouth. Hey, you missed a really good Raw, you should watch it, and maybe the YouTube will get a few more hits, but maybe this will lead into, like you said, SmackDown getting more views as well, just because, that landslide effect.
Right.
Hopefully.
Well, that's it, guys. Everybody listen. I don't know what I'm doing now. I think I'm going to work on some Patreon shit, so hope you guys can sign up on Patreon. But also, because the party's over on Patreon in the morning and everywhere else this week. But also, I may pop in again on Twitch tonight, possibly playing Diablo if I'm up, maybe. But I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not sure. But I do want to say thank you to Jimmy Martin for going from $5 to $10 on Patreon. Danny for pledging $5. Carl Matz from going from 5 to 10. Justin Lynn from going to $1. He joined the Patreon at $1. And again, there's somebody else. There's a new $25 producer level guy, and that is Brian Harper. So Brian Harper, thanks for doing $25 a month. You will have your name soon in the description box under the producer credit level. If anybody wants to go to that level on Patreon, you will get your name down below. I think we have about 20 right now, 20 producer level guys, and you'll see them down below, credited in all the videos, as long as you remain the patron, and usually a little bit after that too. So I really appreciate that, Brian, for going from $10 to $25 a month. Jordan Langlal is like at $5. Keith is at $1, and King Style 13's at $5, and Timothy's at $2. Timothy, come here, Timothy. And the Perryman John is at $1. Chris Van Buskirk at $2, and Patrick Crawford is showing up at $1 as well. Jay showing up at $1. And Nicholas Fields at the $10 mark. Thank you. Kumar Jenkins at $5. And what else we got? Chad went from 5 to 10. Parker went from 5 to 10. Brandon at 10. Cole Zeller at 10. Antonius at 1. Thank you guys for being patrons. More to come on Patreon. The Hangouts hard. Thanks to Jake DeMarco. Hit him up on Twitter at CountdownEnded. There he is. He's hot. He's sexy. And he's ready to go. And I'm Joe Cronin. You can hit me up at CorruptedPod on Twitter. You have to look me up at CorruptedPod. None of my Joe Cronin Show Twitters work because I'm banned for life. At CorruptedPod is my sneaky little Twitter account. You can find me there with only 3,000-something followers.
EC3 just tweeted, by the way. He said, every time I make you laugh, I suffer more inside.
Jesus Christ.
Ouch. Thank you, Big Slow, for sending that to me.
That's too bad because I thought he was glorious tonight.
Yeah, because someone tweeted out, they said, total class move by, the New Day to check on EC3. He's going to be okay, folks. And then he quoted that and said, every time I make you laugh, I suffer more inside. I figured he would have enjoyed the angle tonight, but I guess not. That's upsetting.
He might be joking.
I don't think he's joking. That sounds very defeated. That's unfortunate.
I'm tweeting him now if that's the case. I said, dude, you were awesome tonight. I haven't laughed out loud.
We should all send him some words of encouragement
on Raw. That's something legit funny in a while.
Hopefully, because he did so well tonight, they start to use him more going forward. Hopefully, if it made Vince laugh enough that he could be like, yeah, look, and they give him more of a chance. I hope so.
He was great tonight. It's crazy, dude. He was able to act knocked out better than some of these other wrestlers have been acting fucking with, like, promos and anything else. Like, he's so good. They have no idea. The comedy gold and also, or the potential, like I said, booking the guy like an 80s villain, Miami Vice, whatever, like Champagne, like has a yacht type of deal, like, or has his own bus, or all these things that they could do with him could be so good. Like, let's, like, think Rick the Model Martel meets Ted DiBiase. Let's do that with EC3 and 80s like Bully and put it all together, and let's do that with him. And he could be funny, man. He could be really funny. Like, think the guy from fucking, what the hell's the Adam Sandler? The Wedding Singer. Think the bad guy from that. I got punched in the face. Like, hey, why don't you write a song about this? I got punched in the face for sticking my nose where it doesn't belong. Like, that type of thing. That could be EC3. And he's fucking hilarious. And so if he's upset about this, I'm surprised, because he was really funny tonight. Like, he was good. Like, I really hope he understands. And I know I might be upset. And obviously, they're treating him like shit. But tonight, that was one of the funniest things I've seen on Raw in the last 10 years. One of the funniest really fucking things. I mean, New Day helped with their fucking, like, hey, make the match. It was fucking stupid, but it was funny.
It was funny.
There you go. You're funny. Everyone else is funny. Let's all be funny. Guys, see you tomorrow night for the SmackDown review. I'll see the rest of you guys who are patrons on Patreon. The JCS Army is fucking weird on Patreon, and we're going to talk about it later. We might have another Discord hangout this week. Look for that on Patreon. I upload all my videos on Patreon. I alert you whenever I go live there, so you get the alerts. And there's a message up there right now on Patreon to ask me questions that I will answer on Morning Madness. Please go leave me comments and questions below that. Good night.
Joe, if you're listening, you stupid fuck.
Shut up,
he looks
Jim.
like one of those guys that from Long Island that wants to be a white rapper, but he's 30-something years old, lives in his parents' basement with the droopy cap and the whatever, but he thinks he's Howard Stern, and he's got a cool way of talking in the microphone, and he's a shock jock or whatever, and somehow or another he accumulates followers on Twitter. It's fucking pathetic. So please, nobody listen to anything involving a guy named Joe Cronin, because it's just so fucking sad.
I can also look goth. Jim, I can look goth too, Jim, you dickhead. You fucking dickhead, Cornette. And I bought my house, you four-eyed megalomaniac dinosaur.